And we're back. Sorry, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Happy
hey.
Wednesday. Welcome to the Inspired by Mystery podcast. I am your host, Sammy Soros, and I have a very special guest today. This is RJ, straight
Hello,
out of
hello.
Las Vegas, Nevada, here for your listening pleasure.
Mhm.
Welcome to the show, RJ. I'm happy to
Thank
have
you so
you.
much. Yes, I'm so
Yay.
excited.
Me too. I'm really glad to have
Yes.
you on the show. So,
Heck yeah.
everybody in the chat pretty much knows at this point. Everybody knows Roxy. This is
Mm.
Roxy's little brother. And she was telling him about the podcast. And he was like, I want to be on the show. And Roxy hits me up and she's like, my brother really wants to be on the show. It was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And then I actually got to meet you in person this past
Yes, you did.
weekend, which was so awesome. I'm so glad that I got to meet you in the
Right.
flesh. And you're like, listen, I really want to be on your show. I've got some spooky shit to share. And I was like, this is fucking perfect. Let's do it. So here we are. We're going to get into some fun, spooky stuff. It's going to be fucking great.
Fun, spooky stuff is right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so first off, tell me a little bit about who you are, the man behind the mystique. What are you into? How are you? What do you like to do? Tell me a little
I'm
bit about yourself.
yeah, I mean I'm just a dude, I'm a dude who likes to drum, I was inspired by drumming. If you
From your
if you can say
papa?
that. Yeah, from my dad. Yeah, my dad. I'm sure everyone on here knows already. My dad's a drummer. With Roxy. So, I learned at a young age. Started, banging on pots and pans and stuff, like you do. And just kind of developed a kind of knack for it, and just kind of started going for it.
Did you know that
So,
that was the instrument that you wanted to play always? Was that like just the natural thing?
without a doubt, yeah. It was like I had tried other things like later on that just didn't do like the thing for me.
Okay. So you tried
So.
playing multiple different instruments?
Yeah, so like I dabble at guitar and bass a little bit. Like I can play like punk songs on guitar because three chords, whatever, it's easy.
Sure, sure, sure.
Um, but like yeah, I never had really like the knack or like the the ability to do anything else really, and really kind of go for it. Drumming was just kind of one of those things which is like everything here makes sense. I can do it well. It's fun to do, so that's my thing.
So were you one of those little kids at like 3 years old, just like play it around on your dad's drum set?
Oh yeah, yeah, most likely, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet your family loved that. That was probably a little annoying having a little
Yes.
tiny kid doing it, but it was for a good cause. Obviously, it was in your soul. So
Yes.
that's good that you figured that out, more quickly what
Yeah.
your path was. And you had a great teacher because shoot, your dad was telling me the other night that he started playing when he was like 4 and he
Yeah.
was doing session shit at 12. So he knew what
Yes.
it was like to be a small child and to learn. So I think that's actually really cool that he like helped you on your journey knowing what it's like to have that passion and to want to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was kind of a cool kind of a cool thing being in a whole family of musicians. 'Cause, I mean, our grandparents are pianists and singers and all that stuff. So I just kind of had the natural musical ability, but to be able to like hone in on it with someone who did my craft, it was kind of cool to have like that backup and that support.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's so awesome. So
Yeah.
how old were you when you had your very first show? Like what was your first time you played in front of people?
Oh man, I think I was probably 9 my first show. And my sister and I had a band in Oregon that we put together with like a couple friends. I was 9, she was probably 12-ish, around that age.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
and
cute. Really.
yeah, and so we lived over in like Beatty, Oregon, which is like nowhere land. There's like more cows than people.
Oh, wow.
So we lived over
So
there with our
not a lot
grandparents.
of people to come to your shows. It sounds like,
Right. Yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
unfortunately.
But we got on this bill at the Ross Raglan Theater in Klamath Falls, so much more people, kind of more city, scape kind of looking. And we got thrown on there and opened for a movie premiere. So yeah, that was cool. We played to like a couple hundred people for that.
Oh,
So
wow. Really?
yeah, yeah, that was actually pretty big for like our first show. So yeah.
Yeah, a couple hundred. I thought maybe it'd be like 12 people, and
Oh
you're
yeah,
like, heck yeah, we
yeah,
had a show, which is better than
right.
nothing. But wow, that's really really cool. What
Yeah, it
style
was.
of music was that first band?
So the first band was like a kind of like contemporary, like Christian rock kind of thing. That was kind of what we were going for since we lived in Oregon with our grandparents. They were spiritually influenced, so we went to church and all that, and played in the church band and all that stuff. So yeah,
That's cool, man.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sure everybody loved it, and especially seeing two like very young musicians. That's just mind blowing. Anyway,
yeah,
there's a lot of extra support that I would have if I saw young kids just rocking
right,
out.
right, yeah,
We were at a
for
friend's
sure.
birthday party last week, and the bands played and the drum set was still set up, and this little tiny kid wearing a, was it a Batman? Oh, I think it was Batman, the mask and everything. This little
Nice.
kid gets up and starts drumming, and we're like, who's on the drums? And it was like this tiny dude, and we were like, wow, he's actually not bad. Like, this is awesome. So we were all clapping for him and everything, and he was all stoked. So
Right.
I definitely love when kids are not afraid to get out there in front of people, because it can be really intimidating being in
Yeah.
front of people, even for adults. For a lot of adults, it's intimidating, but it seems like music was always such a big thing in your guys' life that it's just what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of like it's second nature really, just to do like, get up on a stage and just do the thing. I mean, even after 2 years through COVID and stuff, we had our first show in 2 years last weekend. So just getting back into the thing and just feeling at home again, kind of on
Yeah.
stage. It's kind of like second nature. Like, oh, I was missing this. It's not like a stage fright kind of thing. It's just like, where's this been for like so long?
Yeah. How did it feel having
Yeah.
the first like real show back? Did it feel like you had so much energy to release back into the world, or did you feel like, oh shit, my arms hurt because I haven't been drumming as much and I'm tired, or like, yeah, like how was it?
So short answer is yes. All those things. So
Okay,
I
fair.
had I had all the adrenaline, all the energy in the world, but yes, my arms were sore because I'm like, man, I haven't played like this in a minute. Because I mean, even in practice, I'm like, I get into it trying to get the feeling back, but there's nothing quite like having a bunch of people like staring at you and like you're just feeding off the energy. You're like, yeah, like,
Yeah, and you're the
yeah,
drummer. You can't slow down because your arms are tired. Like, you have to keep
right,
going, man. You've got to keep going, and the
yeah,
whole band depends on you keeping that energy up. So,
correct, yeah,
how'd
yeah.
you do? Do you feel like you nailed it?
Yeah, I feel like we did really well. One perk of being ambidextrous is I can just switch it up and start using my left hand to lead, and if I need to, I
Oh, that's
can. So
awesome. That is
yeah,
so super cool. I'm ambidextrous too. I feel like I'm definitely more right hand dominant, but I can switch it up, and that really helps me a lot. Like with painting, especially if I'm doing
yeah,
murals or something and I'm painting, like my right
hmm
arm gets tired, so I can just switch to the left, and I don't feel like I'm like 100% as proficient. I have to focus a little bit more, but I can pull it
right,
off. And some people, their other hand, like non-dominant hand, is just like worthless.
right,
So
right.
that's super cool. Are you like 100% ambidextrous? Do you feel like you have equal power?
Mm, so if
Oh,
I had to
Bot
put,
Snotter! I'm sorry, real quick, Bot Snotter. Thanks for the follow. Yes, Snot Butter. Happy to have you
all
back.
right, nice, nice. If
Anyway,
I had to give a percentage to it, I would probably say like 85%.
it's pretty good.
So like I can like eat and like brush my teeth and like drive with my left hand and kind of do normal things. But if I had to like, man, I think my first instinct if I'm going to like punch somebody is like right hand. You know what I mean? Like that kind
Gotcha.
of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have to do that too often.
I don't need to do that often, but just as a like a reflex or an instinct, my first, right hand. Or if I had to like, block myself, kind of that kind of thing.
Sure,
So
sure, sure. So you are more right hand dominant, but that's really
yeah.
cool that you have both. And did you always know that you had both, like from being a kid, or is it something you had to kind of work on and get practiced to be able to use the left?
I think with drumming, it just kind of developed over time. When I was younger, though, when I was about like 6, 7, I played soccer for a year, um, and I figured out that I was, I guess, ambidextrous on my feet as well. So like my
Cool.
left foot was also available to do whatever I needed to. So I
That's
guess
awesome.
it just kind of translated in both ways. So yeah, and it helps with drumming too. I mean, all that double bass going on is like,
Oh
yeah,
fuck yeah, that's so cool. Honestly,
yeah,
it's not something that gets brought up very much, but like being ambidextrous, I feel like is such a cool, like magical power that most people do not have. So I very seldomly meet other people that have that like superpower as well. So when you mentioned that, it was like, oh, awesome! It's really cool. It helps
yeah, yeah, for sure it does. Yeah,
with a lot of
it's helped a
things.
lot. Yeah. I couldn't imagine if I had like, no dependency with my left side of my body, what I would do with like drumming. I would just be like Def Leppard pretty much.
Totally, man. You know, I was in a band for a short period of time, and the drummer was new. She was new to drumming, so it was just kind of like for fun. We weren't trying to like make it big and really play out. We were just kind of fucking around, and her poor arms would get so tired. She would slow the tempo would slow, and at one point she's like holding her arm, and I'm
Oh
like,
no.
oh man, girl, you're gonna need to like do some work on that because this is not gonna work out
Oh
at all.
no.
And we tried, we really tried. It's like, okay, practice, 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 and it didn't end up working out. But it was funny. I remember her just like, my arms are so tired, like holding her arm while we're playing Ramones or something like that. And I was like, oh
Right.
no. So, well, that's cool. Hopefully, you'll get your chops back like
Yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as possible. You know, the more you do it, the more it'll come
Hmm.
back. I mean, I'm sure after COVID, a lot of people atrophied in so many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
noticed me like walking upstairs and stuff. Like my knee's not great, so stairs aren't my best friend anyway. But now
Yeah.
walking up the stairs, I'm like, whew, oh man, like this is some stairs, you know? And I'm like, God, man, this fucking sucks. I've been just sitting on my ass for so long.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting going back to work and seeing what actually happens when I have to be using all the muscles again. Hopefully, it
Right. Yeah, yeah.
comes right back.
For
So, do you
sure.
have more
Yeah.
shows planned in the near future for your bands?
Um, so for Nocturnal, we're waiting on some things to kind of be in the works. There was supposed to be a tour that was happening this month, but I don't know. So I don't know what's going on with that. As far as Dirt Halo, though, I think we have some things coming up in September. We're kind of still working on our. We have an EP that we're working on, and we have a video that we're working on. So just kind of been
Fantastic.
in studio. So yeah.
That's awesome. So you got two different bands. Tell
Mhm.
me the styles of music for each band. So tell me about Dirt Halo first. How long have you been in the band? What's the style? Tell the people.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So Dirt Halo was, I think, Dirt Halo formed in 2015, and I've been in the band since 2016. So it formed a year before
Cool.
I joined. But I'm basically a founding member because we didn't start playing shows until after I joined.
Hmm.
I knew people, I could network and all that. So we kind of started, I guess, in 2016. But Dirt Halo is more of a kind of like hard rock metal grunge ish kind of feel. It's like
Awesome.
kind of like a modern Godsmack, I guess, Seven Dust, kind of that sort of thing.
You sent me
Yeah.
that video the other day and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I
Oh
can't wait
yeah.
to hear more of the stuff. I only heard that one track that you sent me, but I will make sure that I check out more of that for sure.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. We have some of the stuff on YouTube. We have our old EP that's on there, which had 4 songs. Then we have the new EP that we put out. I think it was last year, something like that.
Oh,
with a
that's
couple
great.
more songs, and we got more in the works. So yeah, it'll be coming.
That's awesome. And have you
Yeah.
done like full blown tours with this band?
With Dirt Halo, we haven't. We were supposed to have like a little tour around like the like Pac Northwest area, include Utah, and do all that stuff. Just kind of like a West Coast area thing.
Cool.
But then then COVID happened, and we just didn't get around to doing it. So we're like, ah, shit,
Dang.
that was like kind of our breakthrough, and we're like, oh, like it didn't happen.
Well,
Yeah.
there's always tomorrow. You can
Yeah,
do a tour anytime. And I think now I hope people are going to be more jazzed about going out
I think
and
so
want to
too.
go to more shows because they're like, fuck, I haven't been to a show in so long. I'm hoping that will bring more people out to this kind
Yeah.
of stuff and to support musicians that are roaming around just trying to make it happen,
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, for sure.
well, I hope you come up here. That would be fantastic. I would love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the tour that I did with Nocturnal Affair, we passed through Washington, Oregon, all the Pac Northwest. I just love it up there. It's so fun. It's so like beautiful. Like it's
It
great up there.
is. It's so beautiful. I love living up in Seattle. I absolutely
Yeah,
love it here.
I
And
bet.
people have a really distinct like love and appreciation for music and art up here.
Oh
People
yeah.
really tend to support each other. Um, Even new bands and stuff. Like I feel like people really love hearing new music out here. So I'm sure in Vegas it's probably harder and different because there's so many tourists.
Yeah.
So I mean it's kind of cool if you're in the right place at the right time and people end up coming in, but
Yeah.
it's probably a little bit harder. I mean I know you guys have your own scene out there, but I could just
Yeah.
imagine it just being harder to like kind of get a good solid scene going with just so much like transient activity constantly.
Yeah. Well, I think too the thing about Las Vegas is like it's becoming kind of like downtown LA, where like everybody with a guitar is a musician. So like there's just too many people like trying to do the same thing. So like your odds
Yeah.
go down for like breaking out somewhere because like 1 minute you're seeing some guy over here and then another guy over there doing the same thing. You're like, which one? That's happening hundredfold. So
That's true. It's
you know
just oversaturated. It's an
it is right now, which is
oversaturated
great. I
market.
mean, music is great for everybody to do. I'm not opposed to a lot of people doing it. It's just I think condensed, like in Vegas specifically, that's this big. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
for
oh man,
sure.
yeah,
Well, the other night on Friday night, you were playing a show, your first show back, a block away from where Roxy Gun Project was playing a show. So you
yeah,
came out at first, and then you're like, I gotta go play a show, and I was like, I wish I could come to your show, but I'm
right,
here doing the thing, and it was so cute that Dusty just like booked it. He was like, I gotta go, man. I'm gonna go. And he like ran.
yeah,
Well, Dusty's version of running, power walking or whatever, but he made it and caught your last song and then caught a little bit of the band after, which was awesome. And then on Saturday night, um, Tom Urban with Suburban Resistance, right? Suburban
yes,
Resistance.
yeah,
They
mm.
were playing a show the same night as Roxy's birthday. And I was like,
Oh
fuck,
yeah,
Tom, I would love to come to your show, but I
yeah,
literally can't. Like, I'm here for Roxy's birthday. So it's like, you got to decide who you're going to support at that time. And that's what makes it hard. I feel like that's hard if you guys are all playing out constantly, that
yeah.
people have to like make the rounds of who they're supporting.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, like, Roxanne and I will play on the same night, but it'll be like in proximity. It's like one of us is trying to get to the other person's show before we go on, or like after, or something like that. So it's kind of cool to have that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cute that you guys support each other so much and having like a
Yeah,
musical family. That's
yeah.
really nice.
Hmm.
So, okay, so what about Nocturnal Affair? Tell me about that band.
So Nocturnal Affair, I joined in 2019 for the tour that was coming up. I had known Brendan Shane, who's the lead singer and kind of the guy, the main focus. I've known him a while. He's kind of been in the scene since I was a kid and just kind of like growing up and whatever. Um, and yeah, he hit me up one time in 2019. He was like, "Hey, heard you do like drumming stuff. Would you want to go on tour?" And I was like, "Oh man, I don't. Yeah,
Let me think about it. Yes.
yeah, yeah." So that tour happened like late or mid 2019, like May June area. They gave me like a month notice to like learn their set and like get prepared. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Is this gonna happen right now?"
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, so I haven't been in that band too long, just a couple of years or so.
You pulled it together though for that tour, huh? You had to work your
Oh
ass
yeah,
off.
yeah. Well, and then playing 30 shows in 30 days was kind of insane. Or what was it, like 27 shows in 30 days? So like playing every night, you just like keep getting solid, solid, solid. It's
Whoa.
like it's crazy. Yeah,
Dang, that's a lot of shows.
yeah. I think I got like 20 hours of sleep in the entire month.
Oh my God.
I was like
How on
driving the
earth
whole
did you
time,
handle it? Jeez.
lots of coffee.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is super intense.
yeah,
Man, with tours, I feel like me and Rex were talking about this the other day about like giving days off in between to actually enjoy where you are and actually take a fucking break because when you're
yeah,
just like go 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 go, like it makes it so hard just emotionally on people that sleep deprived. You're
yeah.
probably not eating or drinking as much water as you should, and
No,
that
just coffee.
sounds
There's water in
tough.
coffee, right? I mean, it's no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
But it sounds really fun. It sounds like it's fun to be on tour and to like every night get to have a party, and
Yeah,
get to see people stoked
yeah,
with what it is that
absolutely.
you're doing. Like that must feel really, really good.
Yeah,
I've
no, it feels
never done
awesome.
a tour, but I bet it would be super, super fun. I'm like
Yes.
a road trip warrior. Like I could travel forever and never stop, and I would be totally fine with that. I feel like I could do like a good like 2 years of just like keep going and doing different stuff. So, I don't get like really like homesick or I just want my own bed or like I'm too tired to carry on. Like I'm like
Yeah,
a rare breed. I feel like. So, do you feel
right.
like you're like that too, or did you get to the point where you're just like I just want to go the fuck home at this point?
So yeah, I guess that's a difficult situation. Jordan and I were recently engaged. I think it was before the tour. So that was kind of difficult, just being separated that way. But
Absolutely.
in the form of like, oh, adventure. I was like, no, let's do it. Let's do this thing. And I actually wanted to drive most of the time, because I was like, man, I've been anywhere in my whole life. Like, I might as well enjoy this and kind of soak up
Yeah.
the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, for me, I was like, the adrenaline of just pure adventure was just kind of like taking over. Like, I didn't need sleep, I didn't need rest. I was like, I'm good to go.
I
So, yeah,
love that. I'm
I'm the
glad
same
that
way.
that was your answer. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Like,
yeah,
enjoying the moment.
yeah. So I have a funny story on tour. So we were five guys packed into a van, right? And in this van there were two like military style like bunk bed cot things. So there were only four places. So a lot of the time, someone would be driving, and the other four would be sleeping, and kind of vice versa, like that. Um, but one night we were like, oh man, like we got a hotel room, like we were able to afford it with like sales and like tips and whatever. So we got a hotel room for the night, and there were only two beds, and we're like, okay, so we either all have to spoon or like figure something out, right? Which I mean, I wasn't opposed to either of these options, but
Yeah, did you guys have a
um,
bro down or what?
I mean, I can't divulge into that. I can't do that. But I'm sure the documentary's coming later. We're working on that. But there was a little spot like on a windowsill that had a like a pad on it, and it was like a little bed type thing. And I was so tired that I did not give a fuck. I was just like, I'm going to sleep now. And they were like, what do you do? What do you? Okay, he's asleep. Cool. So I fell asleep on like this little like
Like a
three
windowsill?
by four window. Yeah, so I was just like curled up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And you were just out, I'm sure. At that point, you're just
Oh
like,
yeah.
brains off, shut off, bam,
Yeah.
done.
I think I was
Oh,
asleep before I laid
man.
down. I was just like,
Yeah, I could see that being like kind of crazy. Just go, 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 and then when your
yeah,
brain needs to shut off, like you've got to shut it off, which probably would be hard because you're all amped up and energy is high, and then being
yeah,
like, there's no time to like to do that. You just have to shut down. So it's bad for an insomniac. I'm sure an insomniac would have a really hard time on
yes.
a
And
tour
I'm
like that.
I'm also an insomniac, so like
Fuck.
sleeping in where I have to is kind of like, I mean, yeah, I could try to sleep here, but if there's anything going on, it's like, okay, I'm awake. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's got to be hard too having five people in one space and maybe somebody's a light sleeper or whatever. And some people, as we've talked about with Roxy and Chris, that some people are morning people that
Yeah.
are a little loud, even though they try not to be loud. They might be a little loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
people in the band are not stoked about this fact.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
that would be tough, man. I would lock a
Yeah.
motherfucker right out too. I'd be like, all right, if you get up and you're going to get your breakfast, you think you're coming back, you are shit out of luck. Door's locked. Come
Yeah.
back at noon. Not doing
Right.
it. For sure.
Right. So
Well,
another
that
road
sounds
story I have is kind of a silly one. Like we were driving. I think I had driven from it was like Arkansas to Florida or something. Like a crazy long drive. Right. I was driving for like I don't know, probably like 11, 12 hours just through the night. And as soon as I lay down in the back seat, I get hit in the face with something, and I'm like, "What the hell was that?" And I like look up, and it was like a water bottle. I was like, "Did I really just get hit with a water bottle?" Like as soon as I lay down, I'm like, "You gotta be joking."
Oh
Yeah,
man.
not my best moment. I kind of snapped a little bit, like just a little,
Just a little? Just a little?
just a little. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I probably had like black eyes, like a demon. You know what I mean? I was probably like, ah, like
Oh,
I
fuck
can feel it.
you. We have a question in the chat.
Oh.
Walt the car guy wants to know what was Super Rocker Roxy Gunn like as a kid.
Man, she's always been a badass. Like, she just goes out and just does it, whatever whatever it takes, whatever she's got to do. She just fucking kills it.
That's a
So
good
that's
answer. And you know what? I wouldn't
yeah.
expect any less from
No,
her.
I would yeah. I never did. She was never like, oh, this is too hard. Like she's always like, go 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 go. Let's do it. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So you guys get along good when you were kids? I mean, you were in a band together. I would hope that you did, but
So yeah, we were in a band together for a little bit. Then through like growing up through like teen years and stuff, we tried to make another like kind of project thing, and it just kind of didn't work out. We had our own things going on. Then I moved to California to finish school, so it just kind of like I guess distance kind of did that thing. But I mean, yeah, I mean we've always been supportive and always been friendly. I guess we're not like at each other's throats or anything. So
that's good.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
good. Yeah, she was all worried. She was like, don't ask any questions about me growing up. And then Walt's like, I have a question.
right,
What was Roxy like? And she's all, oh, I think she's terrified right now. So I
right,
think
right.
that was a very nice answer. She is a
Awesome.
badass.
She's a badass. Yeah. Short and
I
simple.
bet
The badass.
she's texting
Yeah.
you right now. Don't you dare tell that one story about that one time.
Right, right.
No, that's cool. I'm glad that you guys get along and you're in similar type of musical circles. So it seems like you
Yeah,
guys have similar objectives in life as far
yeah,
as like career path and just rocking out. It's good.
yeah. And it's kind of funny. Like we've both done similar but different things in the form of like musical success. So like Crimson Riot was on that like talent show thing, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
freaking out, and I was like, "What in the fuck? Like that's so cool!" And then like short after that, I go on tour with one of the bands that was on that show as well, and so like our circles just kind of like connected again, and
Cool.
things. Yeah, I mean it's such a small like musical world like that.
That's awesome. Oh,
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, Roxy's okay. She's like, no, I was just trying to keep it about him. Y'all know me. Don't ask.
Right.
But this guy knows you in a way that we don't.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yeah.
Do you have any cute or funny stories about her when she was younger, or anything that you
Um.
do want to share that she won't kill you for
hmm.
saying?
Oh man.
Now that
In
we're
that
on the, let's
regard,
just get it all out, and then we'll move along. But
let's
I
just
feel like
spill
the
all the
chat,
beans.
yes, inquiring minds want to know.
Right. Right. Let's see. Trying to think here.
Hey, if not, that's okay too.
Yeah, I like barely remember yesterday. I've been so swamped.
Well, okay. So now that we did talk about all of your music stuff, I think this is a
Mhm.
good segue
Okay.
into the spooky stuff because you guys all lived in a house together.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were a
Mhm.
family. Roxy did not seem to recall a lot of spooky stuff happening at the house. But when you
Oh,
guys were
she
talking about
will.
it, it's going to come back.
Oh,
She
it's gonna
said
come
when you
back.
started to tell her some stuff that she was like, oh shit, I totally kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
So she said that she seems to feel like it was a little more focused on you. Whatever these spooky things were seemed to
Hmm.
kind of zero in on you. So a lot of these things were happening to you, and she was just kind of an observing party from the outside.
Yeah.
So tell me from the beginning, like when did you first start having these spooky experiences? Like as long as you can remember, were you like a tiny little kid? Like tell me from the beginning how it all started for you.
Um, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, like I said before, I can like barely remember like what I ate yesterday. But there are a few specific examples I remember from childhood. I think the first experience was we had just moved into this new place, and all the I was hanging out with like the kids on the street or whatever. I think I was like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. The kids on the street are like, "Oh, you guys are moving to that house? Like, are you sure?" I was like, "Why? What's wrong with it?" And they're like, "Well, like, we see like people in windows, and there's like stuff in the backyard all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Ooh, really?
I was like, "I'm gonna have to check this out for myself," because like I was kind of interested in that kind of thing. I wasn't super like involved just yet, but I was like, okay, I mean, whatever, I'll let it happen. So I think my earliest experience was in that house. I was actually kind of like living in the living room area. Kind of that was like my bedroom kind of thing. I was on an air mattress, and I think one night when I was sleeping out there, and I heard like this. I heard like squeaking, just a random like squeaking sound. I was like, I wonder what that is. So it's kind of like popping around. The kitchen was right next door, so I was like, oh, it's probably something like something fell down or something like rolling or something. I don't know. But I saw there was like a drawer that was open. I was like, oh, that's weird. I thought I'd push that in like when I went to sleep or whatever. So this drawer contained like it was like the junk drawer. Like everybody has one, right?
Sure.
So there's this
Most important
thing.
drawer in the house, in my
It
opinion.
is. It really is. Yeah, you got to collect all your shit in there. So,
Yeah.
um, but in that drawer too are like some objects of like some knives and some like utility stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. This one's open. Like it's kind of funky. So I like shut it. I head back to go to sleep again. I hear the squeaking again. And I was like, I wonder if it's that fucking drawer, right? So I get up and without a doubt, it was a drawer. It was that drawer that was open. I was like, okay, this is really weird. And like there was a steak knife that was on top. That was just like chilling there. I was like, oh man, that's not good. So
And
I
it
just went
wasn't
to
there
sleep.
before?
Yeah, it was there before. There were some knives in that drawer,
Okay.
but I mean it was just right there on top. And I was like, well, why is this drawer opening for like no reason? You know. So I just
Weird.
went.
That's a
I,
strange one.
I went to sleep and just let the night go away. It's like, all right, that's weird.
Okay, so that was the
Yeah,
first time that you were like, what on earth is going on? And you
yeah.
heard the drawer
I
opening.
heard the drawer open. Yeah, it was like
And it wasn't like a
a kind of
loose
thing.
drawer that just could like
No,
fly open.
no.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Okay, so now you have questions at this point. So you're already interested in, paranormal stuff as a kid, ghost
yeah.
stories and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And now this happened. So what are
Yes.
you thinking in this moment? The kids say, you're not moving into that house. Oh shit. Now you
Yeah.
start having that happen. So like how did you react emotionally to this? You said you went to sleep, but were you like freaked out? Were you like excited about it? What was your like reaction to something like that?
Um, I think I was more just like intrigued, if anything. Like I wasn't like super terrified. I was kind of like weirded out. I was like, okay, that's weird, kind of thing. But as time kind of went on, I just kind of like like forgot about it or whatever. It wasn't like a huge like traumatic experience. Just kind of
Sure.
a weird thing that happens.
Okay.
Um, but we just we kept living there obviously, and just more things kept kind of popping up every now and then that were like, oh, that's weird too. Oh, that is weird. Kind of stuff like that. Um, and then I think later on in our living there, I had come. Was it the same house? I want to say it was the same house. And it might be a new house. Sorry, we'll stay with this house, then we'll go to the next house later on.
Okay, okay. Dusty
I think
wants to
that
know if you told anybody about the drawer at the time, though.
I think I think I told Roxy and my mom about it because my mom was also into like the kind of afterlife kind of stuff. She'd always watch like documentaries on like the Discovery Channel and the whatever they had the ghost stuff on.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I definitely told my mom about it, and I don't remember what her reaction was, but I mean, kind of pretty much same like me, like oh that's weird. I wonder where that happened or something like that. So
Okay. So you didn't try to like be like, okay, I'm crazy. I'm not sharing it. So you did share the experience. Like, okay, something weird is
yeah, yeah,
happening, just so
yeah.
everybody knows.
Yeah, I think it was definitely weird enough to like say it to someone and be able to remember it, like recall a memory, like, oh, that happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely shared with the family, and my dad was kind of like, oh, whatever, like, sure, yeah, that happened, sure.
Which is interesting because he has many of his own experiences that it seems like he doesn't want to have. So he was probably just like,
Yes.
la la la, can't hear you. I have no
Hmm.
idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
We're going to have him on next week and I'm going to hear his experiences, and that's going to be super interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I need to tune into that one because yeah, I know a few of his things because I've been living with him for a while, obviously, but I don't know like the full extent of it.
So yeah, it'll be cool. I was really excited to have you and then him, so I can hear your experiences and
Oh
how
yeah,
you saw everything, and then hear his version and his perspective of what was
yeah,
happening too. In addition to all the rest of the stuff that he had like personally going on, so I think it's going to be
yeah.
a cool like back to back episode
Right.
kind of thing. That's going to be really cool. So
Yeah,
as far
I
as
don't think.
this house goes, like what was next? Like what kind of stuff did you start noticing after the weird drawer scenario?
Yeah, so after the weird drawer thing, I think it was pretty mellow after that. I don't recall any other memories from that house, but the house right after that, because we had moved like I think what like 3 or 4 times like within that same year or something. So
Wow.
there were a lot of different things that were going on, and a lot of different areas. So things might get a little messy trying to recall, but
Sure, sure. Yeah, just do your
yeah,
best.
cool. Yeah. I think the house directly after that one is kind of the same scenario. Like, people in the cul-de-sac or whatever it was were kind of weary about like the house we're moving into. They're like, oh yeah, like people always move out of that one like super quick for some reason. They're like, oh, that's funky. Like, huh, I don't know. We didn't think anything
How
of it.
did
It
your
was
parents pick the spooky houses, man? They just like had a knack for
yeah,
picking these
right,
spooky houses.
right, yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, possibly. I mean, maybe they were like drawn to it because my parents were both kind of like you know, uh, not like spiritual, but I guess just like drawn to that sort of stuff. So maybe that was
Sensitive, maybe
maybe
sensitive to those
sensitive.
kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that, yeah, yeah. So
Interesting.
maybe, but yeah, but this new house was a just a kind of a typical Vegas two-story house. I remember one night I was coming downstairs and I saw someone inside the house, and like it was clear as day, and I was like there's a guy right there. Like I know there's a guy right there. And it was like an old guy with like kind of a farmer get up, like overalls and stuff like that, with a rake. And I was like, is this guy raking inside the house? Like, what's going on here? And he
That's
was,
bizarre.
yeah, and he was just kind of like doing his thing. And I was like, I mean, okay, I'm just coming down to get water, but whatever. Like, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing.
Okay.
But I just kind of like walked around him and got water, and then went back upstairs and went to sleep.
Walked
Yeah,
around him.
yeah, I just like walked around him. And I was like, oh, excuse me, kind of thing, and got water, and
Did this guy look like a full blown like person where you couldn't see through him, or did he look kind of like ghosty?
it was. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, it was dark too, so I'm not 100% sure what the texture was, but like my first instinct was like, there's someone in here. Like it wasn't like, what is that? It was like, there's a guy in here. Like I don't know. You know.
And you didn't bail? The guy had a rake,
No.
which could be a weapon. You did not.
Yeah.
You're super brave. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, like I said, he was just like kind of doing his thing. Like he didn't look like he was engaged with me at all. Like there was no like eye contact. There was no like, and he was just kind of like doing his thing. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna let you.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna let you do your thing then. I didn't know if
So it might have
his
been more of a like residual haunting as opposed to an actual like sentient conscious ghost.
yeah, I
That's
think
kind of
maybe
what you felt.
his spirit was maybe stuck in routine, maybe, or something like
Sure.
that. Is what I thought afterwards. So
Oof,
yeah,
that sounds like jolting though. You're
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
excuse me, just gonna go have fun raking the living room, I
yeah,
guess.
right.
Weird. Huh. Did you ever
What are
get
these
any
comments in the
history?
chat here?
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I'm just reading the silly, crazy things in the chat.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was totally ignoring chat for a second.
Right.
Maybe he was just Raistlin James.
Raistlin James is fun. Oh,
Oh man. Yes, your
is there?
cat has become a star. That's great.
Yes. Oh, hi, buddy.
Hello. Wow. Okay. So, do you have any ideas on what that was all about? Do you feel like this was this guy's house previously, or maybe like just the land itself? Maybe this was this guy's land that was built on. Did you have any kind of like instinct or information that you could gather from being like in the presence of this person?
I mean, something like that's kind of hard to like put together as like a child. You don't really know like 100% what's going on with all that. You're not kind of in
True.
tune with that sort of knowledge just yet. Had I been like a teenager, I probably would have had better theories or better ideas. But looking
That makes
back on it,
sense.
looking back on it now, I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe that was his land, in the past, and houses were built up on it, and he's just doing his thing.
Yeah.
Raker's gonna
Yeah,
rake. You know what I
because
mean?
yeah, the rake that's what's interesting. That makes me wonder if it was the land as opposed to the actual house itself.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
just this is my land. I'm just doing the thing. That's super interesting. Did you ever get any information from the neighbors that said there's weird stuff in the house? Did you ever get any kind of history or any more detailed information on why the house was weird, or they just noticed people moving out real fast and that's all they saw?
Yeah, they just kind of noticed like a quick turnaround. I mean, it wasn't like a super like snazzy area of Vegas or anything. Kind of like lower like income levels and stuff. So I mean, things happen. Looking back on it, it's kind of that might have been the case, but yeah, people were kind of weird about the house for a minute because they're like, oh, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the house, kind of
Interesting.
thing. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay. So, did you ever see him again after that time, or was that the one time?
just the one time. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
just the one
What
time.
about anything else in that house, or was that the one notable experience?
In that house, I think that's it for that one. I didn't notice anything else funky with that house. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's
So
it for
now
that
you've
one.
got young, and you've had two houses in a row
Hmm.
with weird shit going on. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
at this point, you're probably like, what the fuck is up?
Right.
So
Right.
something is up. Something's up. Okay. Now
Yeah.
Now you know you've experienced this stuff. So then, next house,
Yeah.
what was
So
next?
if I could actually backtrack a little bit, I did remember
Please.
something from before the first experience,
Okay.
and
Yes, please.
this is a big one because it was like actually the first one. Um,
Okay.
so we lived in a pretty decent neighborhood on a golf course. I think I was probably like maybe 6 or 7, so like pretty young, like younger. Um, and I had I think it was like right, it was either right after Easter or sometime after Easter. But I got like this little like toy like chicken thing. It was like a stuffed animal chicken, and it had like a chirping thing inside it. So if you shook it, it would make noise.
Okay.
So this is a great lead up to a story because what's gonna happen,
I
right?
know. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right. So Roxy was actually there for this one. I'm not sure if she remembers or not. But we were in a bunk bed, and I was on the top bunk. She was on the bottom bunk. Um, and in the middle of the night, I guess I like shuffled or something. I've never been a super like restful sleeper, so I just kind of like twitch and move around and whatever. Um, but I guess I hit like I think I hit the stuffed animal off of the bed, and it like hit the corner of the wall and stayed there.
What?
And the weird part was, is by the time I woke up and saw it hit the wall, it did not make the noise that it was supposed to. like it was caught really softly. And then
What?
after a couple of seconds, which felt like hours because I was traumatized, I was like, "What is happening?" It fell to the floor and then made the sound again. And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that was." So yeah,
That is a very strange story.
yeah,
It's just like frozen in time. Just
hmm
like somebody grabbed it basically and was
yeah,
holding it for a
yeah.
few
Like
seconds.
not like when you catch something like super soft, and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to like damage it." It was just like boom, and it didn't
Yeah.
make the noise at all, which it was supposed to, because if you throw it at something, it's going to make the noise inside the mechanism or whatever. So
That's a weird one for sure.
yeah,
That is very strange. Roxy says, "Oh yeah, the floating chickie."
the floating chickie is what it was
Oh
called. Yeah,
man, that is very weird.
yeah,
Okay, and that was before the first house, so that was one of the
yeah.
first
So
things
that was
that
my
you
actual
noticed.
first
Okay,
experience. Yeah, yeah,
okay, okay. All right, interesting.
yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you remembered that. That's
Yes,
pretty strange.
yeah. Strange
Okay,
one. Yeah.
all right. So then, zipping forward, then what is
hmm
the next phase of this ghost
So
adventures?
so we zip forward. After the two-story house, we moved into another one-story house. It was kind of like smaller and similar area. Um, and this one actually more focuses on my mom than my experience, but I kind of like had a kind of glimpse of things. Um, my mom would like smell or like see like I guess like things of like cats, like some sort of senses of like a cat being around, because she was always like looking over her shoulder, like what the hell was that? Like things just passing by. And so like in one of our houses we had a ghost cat.
Whoa,
Yeah, she could
that's
like
really
yeah,
cool.
she would like smell litter sometimes and be like, "What is that smell? Like what is that?" And it was like coming from one of the bathrooms, like where you put your cat box, like your litter
Yeah,
box. But like there's a distinct smell of like, oh, somebody blew it up or like a cat like did his business, like it's
that
distinct.
is interesting. Did
Yeah.
you ever see the ghost cat or like hear it meowing or anything, or it was just like that feeling that there is an animal around? Because I can feel when my cats come into the room, even if they haven't said anything. Like I'm pretty sensitive
Yeah.
to that kind of stuff, so I'm like, I am not alone. There's a little creature over here. So
Right, right. Yeah, I never like saw or sensed anything, but I had the smell like, one or two times was like, oh, that's weird. Why does it smell like cats in here? But I also had like really bad allergies when I was in that house because my whole family's allergic to cats. So where I was just like
dang,
sensitive allergy wise. So I'm like, does that happen in the afterlife? Like, what the hell?
that's strange. Which I
Yeah.
mean, if people had cats there for a long time, I could see how there could be like residual dander and that kind of stuff. But actively smelling a litter box, that doesn't seem
Yeah.
like something that you would just randomly smell on occasion.
Right, right. Yeah.
Like if it always smelled like cat pee, if the whole house smelled like cat pee, then it's
Mhm.
like, at least it's consistent. It would suck, but
Yeah.
it's
Ghost standard.
consistent. Ghost dander.
It's gotta be. I mean,
Oh man. Yeah,
afterlife
that's a weird
allergies.
one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. But hey, not too bad if you have a little ghost pet.
Yeah, right.
Somebody that's just kind of hanging out and just kind of going on the loop doing their thing. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I think that was probably one of my last experience as a kid. And then I guess life got too hectic after like growing into, my teenage phase and all that stuff and getting into adulthood. Until like, I guess I kind of got like settled down like here in Vegas, like got my own apartment and stuff like that, and then things started kind of picking up again. Now that I realized what was happening. Um, so I guess the next story was from like I think it was earlier. Oh, Roxy, yeah, I do actually remember that one. Yes, sorry, there's a lot of these.
Oh, good, good. I
Yeah,
love endless stories. It's awesome.
right. So Roxy reminded me of one that happened when I was a kid, kind of in between all the other ones. Um, there was a situation where I was friends with someone, or I forgot who met them first, but anyway, we were friends with like some kids down the street. There was a girl that was Roxy's age, and there was a kid, a boy that was my age, and so we just kind of hung out with each other, all of us. Um, they we they'd invite us over to like stay the night as like a group kind of party thing. So they had a bunch of people there. Um, and me being the insomniac that I am, was kind of just walking around one night, and I was coming down the stairs, and coming up the stairs was an old man and a cat behind him. And this one was different than the farmer guy. It wasn't as like, I guess, as visible. I guess it was a little more like, oh, that was weird. Like, what was that kind of thing? But then, kind of like looking up the stairs and seeing like the shape, I was like, oh wow, like I didn't know someone else lived here. That was weird. Um, but
That is weird.
yeah, so I came down and told everybody like, hey, I just saw like a ghost. I'm not sure if you guys saw anything or Um, but then they were kind of telling us that they had an urn full of ashes of their grandfather and their cat in the same urn. So,
Interesting.
and I didn't know about that
Oh.
before. I had never been told about that, and I was like, oh, that's weird that I saw them. Like they were just chilling, going up the stairs. So that's cool.
Ooh, did they live in the house or just the ashes were there?
I think just the ashes were there. I'm not sure if the grandpa lived in the house or not. I don't think I ever got the backstory
Okay.
on that. Yeah,
Ooh, so
but
these things just like to appear for you.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So things just kind of
Huh.
happen. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's
Hmm.
it's interesting because your dad said a similar thing that he
Oh, really?
feels like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good talk the other night, and I'm really excited to have him on and share more details. But he said that
Yeah.
he's had a lot of things appear to him, and it almost seems like they're coming to him for help or like specifically trying to
Yeah.
manifest in front of him. So I wonder if it is something that kind of runs in the family
Yeah.
with you guys. You guys are just sensitive without even meaning to or without trying to. You just have a natural ability that they see something in you. It almost
Hmm.
sounds like where they feel comfortable manifesting in front of you or feel the need to or think that you're
Yeah.
going to help them or just acknowledgement in some kind of way because
Right. Right.
this is already a bunch of things and
Yeah.
you're still a child, you know? This is a
Yeah.
lot
At
of
this time,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah. I was still a child. Yeah. From this, and yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Funky
what
stuff.
about what's next then? What was the next phase?
um, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think I have anything else from my childhood, unless Roxy can figure out something. um, I think I think the next stuff is just more kind of recent. It was earlier this year. I was going to like skate parks and stuff, just trying to be active, after the quarantine and all that. So I was trying to get out and just do some stuff. I was a skateboarder back in the day, so I was like, oh, I'll pick this up again. So I was at one of these skate parks like late at night, and as I'm driving home, I'm like pulling up like around like this kind of roundabout type thing going up a hill, and I see someone just dart across the street like as fast as possible. I'm like, what in the hell was that? And I'm like, I mean, this is kind of a weird area, so it could have been just like some transient person just hanging around, or running from something. But I had Jordan next to me, and she's like, "What the hell?" Because I slammed on my brakes. I was like, "Bam!" Like I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I freaked out, and she's like, "What are you
Weird.
saying?" And I was like, "I mean, I saw, I saw someone there, and I didn't want to hit them."
She didn't
So
see it though.
no, she didn't see anything.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that sucks that you keep seeing shit
yeah,
and
really
nobody
weird.
else is
Yeah.
seeing it.
Yeah, and to kind of give like a depth like perspective, so like you're driving and you see like the hood of your car. This person was like 6 inches from the hood of my car. So like it was close. So that's why I slammed on the brakes. I was like, what the fuck?
Whoa. And as soon as
Yeah,
you stopped, they were gone.
yeah, yep.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's unsettling. That's just like mean.
Very. I almost had a heart.
That's
I,
really
I like
unsettling.
my heart was like killing me. It's like, oh my
Oh,
god.
hey, Walt, good night. Thank you so much for coming in. Walt the car guy. Always a
Walt the
pleasure
cart
to have
guy.
you here. Yeah, I see you back here again soon. Sweet dreams to you. But wow, yeah, that's strange. So that makes me wonder if maybe somebody had been hit in that spot
Yeah,
and you were somehow just drove right past the spot and
yeah,
you just picked up on this. Huh. You know, it
possibly. Yeah.
seems like a lot of the things with you are you observing residuals.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I wonder if you just, if it's kind of maybe in some way, some kind of like, I don't know, like a vision into the past. If you're able to just pick up on these energies of things that have happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
do you get vibes from places? Like, if you walk into like a, historic places or
Yeah.
whatever, cemeteries?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a story about that as well. So I've had a couple different like types of scenarios. I guess I'm just giving all the residual ones first and moving into the other ones.
Okay,
But
good. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm having so much
yeah.
fun.
So this one legitimately scared me as an adult. Like there's not a lot of things that like unsettle me. Like I've seen a lot of shit, but this one was crazy. When I first started my new job in property management, I'd have to go to houses all the time and do like walkthroughs and inspections and stuff like that. Um, Pretty normal day. I head out of this property at like I don't know. I mean, it's getting like 6, 7 o'clock. The sun's just coming down. Um, and I'm like walking up to the property, and I just look at it like it has kind of a funky thing, just like a vibe. Just kind of like I don't know. I don't know about it. So I walk up the driveway, and I'm like, it's probably just nothing. Like that, that stuff. Whatever, it's fine. And I walk up and get to the door, and I'm like trying to see like the keyhole for the door, and so I like kind of lean my head like against the doorway. And the instant I do that, I feel someone else on the other side doing the same thing. Like I have the feeling like someone's on the other side of the door
Oh,
with me right.
no.
And so I step back and I'm like, what the hell was that? And like it wasn't a very inviting feeling. It was just kind of like, where are you right now? Why are you here? Like, get away from me, kind of thing. So I was
Whoa.
getting
And
really strong
mimicking
vibes.
your movement too, which is
Yeah,
strange. Like mimicking you,
yeah, yeah,
interacting
mhm,
directly.
yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah. And it was
And
weird
you still
because
had to go in the house, huh?
yeah, no, I still had to do my walkthrough, so I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna die today. Like this is gonna be
Oh,
it.
man. That sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
So
like that.
yeah, and the really weird part was is like as soon as I had that feeling of someone else on the other side of the door, I felt like I could like see a face, like in my head.
Sure.
I like
Oh.
saw a face that was like get out. You know what I mean? It was like real direct.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
and I was like, okay, are we doing this? Because I don't know.
So when something like that happens, hopefully that doesn't happen all the time, but in this experience, did you like take a moment and kind of like do anything to center yourself or ground yourself or hold some space or communicate directly as far as like, yo man, I just got to come in, it's my job, I got to do it. I'm good, I'll be gone. Like what do you do in a situation like that?
Yeah, so yeah, generally, I mean, if I have a situation that involves like me being at work, I try to be like, hey, like I'm just doing my thing here. I'll talk to myself and kind of talk myself through what I'm doing, just to kind of let whoever's there know that I'm not focused on there's a ghost here. It's more just like okay, I got company. That's fine. You know,
Do you do it out loud? Do you like
yeah, oh yeah,
verbally? Okay.
yeah,
You're like,
mhm,
I'm just doing this thing and then I'm
yeah,
gonna go.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
a play by play to myself. I'm like, I just gotta take a picture here, take some notes, and I'm like, yeah, moving to the next room. Like, you can come if you want, you know.
Okay.
But,
You know
yeah.
what? I feel like a lot of times these things just kind of want acknowledgement
Hmm.
in one way or another. I exist. I fucking exist.
Yeah.
I know that you know I exist type of thing.
Mm.
So I think that is, it's nice and respectful in that way to just like give that verbal acknowledgement.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess sometimes it can be inviting in a way where it's like, oh, now I know that you know that I exist. So
Hmm.
it could potentially go, different directions. But I don't know. I personally, like, I think it's good to acknowledge it. And I've definitely had to do that in times too where I'm like, okay, like I recognize that I'm not alone right now. Like it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
protected. I'm safe in here. You do
Mhm.
whatever you got to do, but these are my boundaries basically. So I kind of have like my boundaries that I kind of set out
Yeah.
for whatever it is because I don't want to
Right.
get fucked with and I don't want something following me home. I don't want something attaching. So in a
Yeah.
circumstance like that, before you leave, do you do any kind of like, okay, I'm leaving and you can't come kind of thing?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I usually like jokingly, I'm like, oh, thanks for having me. Like, I'll see you next year or whatever, kind of thing. Just like it
Okay.
would be like a regular type of situation. 'Cause, chances are I will be back there. So, I don't want
Right.
to be like, oh, like, I'm out. I'll see you later, kind of thing. Because like I gotta go back for like evaluations. I gotta go back for like the move out, stuff. So it's like I'm coming back. So might as well
Okay.
be friendly about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And
Yeah.
being like terrified and in fear, I don't feel like
Mm.
that's good for anybody. It's not good for you just trying to do your job.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's good if these people are actually observing you and you've
Yeah.
got all this nervous energy. Like I feel like it's really cool the way that you go about it where you're like walking around the right guy, you're like, it's fine, it is what it is, and I'm just gonna do
Yeah.
this thing and I'm gonna go. It's fine.
Right.
I think it's a very brave perspective. And, since you've had a lot of stuff happen your whole life, it's just kind of like part of your experience on this earth. So it seems like maybe it's shocking or like jolting at the moment when something pops up, but you doesn't sound like, at least up to this point, that you've had anything like fuck with you or hurt you or anything like that to make you feel like
Yeah.
you need to be afraid.
Right. Right. Yeah. Um, Rocks. So on tour, I mean, I didn't really have time to like feel anything except for when we played at the Thompson House. That was really fucking weird. Um, because there's lots of history there. Obviously, it's the inventor of the Tommy gun. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. So I guess the story was, so yeah, we played at the Thompson House in Newport, Kentucky, on the Nocturnal Affair tour. And during our sound check, we were having like really weird like electrical problems and amps weren't working and mics weren't
Hmm.
working and just weird stuff. Just like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, why is everything not working right now? You
Yeah,
know.
it's weird.
Um, and like a couple of us would kind of like scamper off and kind of do our thing before the show. And some of the other guys in the band were like, "Hey, did you guys hear like someone like running upstairs or anything?" And we're like, "No, as far as we know, there's no one up there." So other people were experiencing stuff at the same time.
Ah,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, but
And
after
you're like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, thank you. Somebody else is seeing
yeah,
this shit.
but after we got everything situated and we played our show and whatever, the guys who were running the thing took us for a tour of the house. And so it's like coming up on probably like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Coming around like dead time, what they call it, right? All the
Yes.
spooky people with the dead time, right? Which I think happens at any time, really, but in the dark, it's more fun. So,
Agreed.
uh,
Agreed.
so we're crawling around, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to the Widow's Peak?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is, but yeah, like let's do it." I'm like, "Is that like a
That
bar?
sounds
Like what's
sick.
going on?" Well, it
Whatever it
sounds
is,
dope,
sounds
right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like let's go, let's fuck it, whatever. Yeah, YOLO. I mean, you only got one life to live. Let's just do it. So they take us to the widow's peak of this house, which is like a big like tower thing on top of your house, pretty much. I guess the story behind the structural, you know, architecture thing was like wives like waiting for their husbands to get home, and so they'd go up in the tower and kind of like look out on the city to see if they're coming
Ah,
home.
the
So that's
widow's
what
peak.
the
Got it.
yeah, so that's what the intention. And usually it would end up in you know the guy like dying at war, so then they'd be widowed kind of thing. So that's why they call it widow's peak. So it's super sad. Um, but we took a tour up there, and they were like, RJ, you can go first. Like go up first, get up there, get in there. And
You're the bravest, so there you go. Makes sense.
I'm just like, okay, let's go, let's do it. so so I crawl up there, and it's a staircase that's like literally the width of my face, and so we have to like kind of climb through there and kind of shove our way through like that. And I get to the top and kind of like poke my head up and look around, and I'm just like super sad, like very, very, very sad. I was like, man, like I had a great show, and I am with my friends, and I just feel this like dread.
Oh
So
man,
yeah,
that
and
sucks.
then after that, they tell us, oh yeah, the lady that lived here a long time ago killed herself here. I was like, thanks, thanks for that.
In that specific area?
In in that room, right there in that room. Yep.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks that you
Hmm.
took that on, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I
Did
charged
you
in not
feel
knowing what
like
I was
there was
expecting, and was like, oh man, that
Yeah.
sucks. So
Did you feel like you were just picking up on the energy that the space held, or did you feel like there was like a message to you looking back
I
on it?
yeah, I think I just kind of just pick up like energies that have happened there or whatever. You know, it's kind of more of that residual thing. Like most of my things, I think
Yeah.
are residual, just picking up what was left, trying to like rediscover or like maybe reimagine what was happening. So
Wow.
um, I'm really prone to like the feeling. So like if something bad happens somewhere, I'm like, ooh, I don't like this.
Yeah, that's. I think it's good. It's good instincts too, just to kind
Yeah,
of know, and that way you're a little more prepared. But with that one,
yeah,
you weren't prepared. You just went up there and you're like, oh shit, this
yeah,
feels really sad, and like,
yeah,
and then they tell you the history of the room. That
yeah, yeah.
is rough.
Yeah, so we go up there. I have the sad feeling. I'm like, okay, like I'm out. Like I got to go do something with my life because I'm this is not it, you know. So I like walk out
Yeah, for
there,
sure.
and I remember I'm wearing like a I'm wearing a necklace of some kind for the show because I was all like jewelried up for the show or whatever. And I like it was like tight. It was like too tight. I was like, okay, this has to go right now. When it had been comfortable before,
Sure.
and as I'm walking down, they're like telling us the story of the woman that killed herself. They're like, yeah, she hopped on a chair and hung herself right there. And I was like, dude, you got to be joking me.
Oh shit!
Like you have to be kidding me. I'm like, I felt like I did not want this necklace on. Like right before you said that,
Wow.
yeah, it's like this is too
That's
much.
interesting, man. You are really
Yeah,
sensitive to this kind of stuff.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Ooh,
It's cool, but it can be sad.
absolutely. Are you an empathetic person just in general? Like with your friends and family, you feel everybody's shit
Very,
anyway?
very. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man, so this is just your just channel is just open. Like what you are
yeah,
just open
yeah,
to living people around you, and it seems like, whatever kind of weird imprint is left over in some of these places, it seems like you're very in tune with picking that up without even like meaning to. It's not like you're like
yeah,
going in the zone. You're like, okay, I'm in a spooky house. Let's do a seance. Like it doesn't seem like you're trying in the moment to connect with
yeah.
these things, but you just can't really turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no like Zach Bagan. He's like, "Come fight me, ghost. Let's go."
Well, I'm glad because it's so douchey that he does that. It's so
I
I
know,
don't like when
right?
people provoke things like that. But
Yeah.
it seems like with your disposition, that if somebody was to reach out, like consciously, it seems like
Hmm.
you probably would be a pretty good person for them to reach out to because you're pretty
Yeah.
brave about it, and it seems
Yeah.
like you would be able to connect with them and feel what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that? Have you ever had to, or had the opportunity to help somebody?
Hmm. Yeah. So it's actually a perfect segue that you bring that up because this happened very recently in my office. Um, so what was it? I think it was uh, I want to say earlier this year. Um, both of my great grandparents passed away, and they were super old. They were like I think great grandpa was 102 or something like that, and grandma wasn't far behind.
Dang.
She was almost 102, like 98, 99, right?
Wow.
So they both passed away within a week of each other. Um, at the
That
office,
sucks.
yeah, that's yeah, it's really sad. I mean, they lived forever, so like they had time to live a great life and be just
Yeah, they had a good run. They
yeah,
got to see
absolutely,
so much.
yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah, yeah. Granddad was he was a piano player. He toured the whole world pretty much playing piano, so he had a great life. So yeah,
That's so cool.
That's pretty awesome. But shortly after that, um, we had like a weird like flicker going on in our office. It was like a light flickering. I didn't think anything of it because they were like, oh yeah, the office is having some like electrical issues. Like they sent a memo and everything. Like it was that noticeable. People were like, oh okay, so there's like a light out or something that's going on. Um, there's just like one light in like a cluster of like a couple lights in like a entry of an office building. And like how weird. Like it's kind of like almost rhythmic, like kind of keeping its rhythm or keeping its beat per se.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of noticed that out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I don't think anything of it. I'm like, okay. So I kind of like walking around, like getting coffee because I'm going to the break room. Um, and uh, one of the receptionists like get up and go to check out the light, and it's like kind of still doing its flickering thing. And as soon as they walk out the door, the light stops flickering and just like doesn't flicker at all. And then she walks down the hallway, it's still unlit, and then she comes right back, goes through the door, and it starts flickering again, like almost immediately.
Huh.
Yeah. So like I don't know if
Interesting.
my thought and my visual perception of this is like, the ghost was there at the light and then like followed her to figure out what she was doing and then came back, kind of thing. Like
Interesting.
what do you like? Where are you going? Kind of thing. Like, oh, I want to come, and then they come back and he's like back at the light. Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it was some kind of like trying to communicate with the person while they were in that region. Like, hey, hey, hey,
Maybe.
hey, I'm here, I'm here. And then they're gone. They're
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they're like, wait, 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 wait.
So the second half of the story is this part. Okay. So I'm seeing this all go down. I'm kind of just like watching it, like, oh, that's really weird. I'm like sipping my coffee, and then as soon as the receptionist comes back in the office, the light just like lights up and is fine, like just on like normal, and we're like, oh, it must have gone out or whatever. So I turn around and go back to the office. I'm like, I got to get back to work. And then it starts like flickering again, and I kind of look up and it is lit again, just like normal. I'm like, what is going on with this? And then it starts doing the pulsing thing again, but this time it's like a little quicker. Like, I'm a drummer, so I'm like keeping track of like the time and the beats and stuff, because I'm a
Yeah.
nerd. But it was like, kind of doing this sort of thing, blinking like this, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. Um, it didn't occur to me to look up Morse code
I was
at the
just
time,
wondering. Okay. Okay.
so it was blinking out the letter U. So I'm looking at it, and it's continuously doing the pattern for you, and I'm like me though, like why was it no one else? Like why was no one else seeing this? So I was like, so like
Hmm.
what do I do here, right? So I just kind of like I walk out the door and like look directly up at the light, and I'm like, what do I do now, kind of thing, And so it's the middle of the day, and people are like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, I don't know. I'm here to help if I need to. If the lights would have like
Yeah.
flickered, it's a session, I would have followed it. I don't, you know, but
That's awesome.
yeah. But I mean, it didn't do that. It just kind of like ended there. I guess I'm not sure what it was, but I was thinking like maybe, I don't know if it was like energy from like my grandparents passing away, like hey, like we're okay, kind of thing, or like you're gonna be okay, like you got this. I don't know. So I don't know what that was.
Interesting. That's kind of cool though that you looked up Morse code and you're like, okay, that's like seemed like a more direct thing.
Yeah.
You. Wow. That's strange. I've definitely heard about a lot of interesting electrical things happening
Yeah.
in the presence of unexplained things like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a body and you had to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple ways to go about that. Either you somehow figure out a way to like have a physical manifestation, which seems like that's an
Mm-hmm.
awful lot of energy. So if you are going to do that, I feel like you'd have to figure out how to draw some energy from
Right. Right.
elsewhere. But it seems like it would be a lot easier to manipulate lights or something that's already has that electrical current just by kind of tapping into it.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had some strange instances with with lights reacting.
Yeah.
Actually, it was crazy. I had this lamp in my room in Colorado, and I worked at this cafe, and it was a very old house. It was probably, early 1900s, this house, and it was now a cafe. And there was definitely a bunch of spooky shit that went on there.
Mm.
And I forgot exactly what it was. I can't remember, but I had a legitimate spooky experience at work down in the basement. It was specifically in the basement where all of the stocked stuff was. I had to go down there for something. I don't remember what it was, but it involved something with the lights. I think the lights were flickering while I was down there, and
Mm.
whatever it was. I came home to tell Dusty about it, and I'm standing in the living room, and mind you, the light never did this before ever in our house. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, man, I just had a really bizarre situation at work. I was down in the basement. Whatever happened. The lights were flickering, and it was really strange. Like I really feel like I had a legitimate interaction, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden the fucking light in our living room starts blinking on and off. And
Yeah.
I wish there was a photo of my face because it was probably hilarious. Where I just looked at Dusty and was just frozen, like shut the fuck up. And Dusty was like, "Alrighty then." I was like, "Oh hell no, you can't be here with me. Like you got to go back to the cafe." Like
Yeah.
I don't think so. Or if it's something else that's here that's listening, whatever. But I'm not feeling really comfy about you just
Mm.
doing that on command at that exact moment.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read this chat. Let's see what we got going on. Turbo, I have never heard or seen a ghost. Not sure what I would do if I felt the presence of the spirit. Especially since you've gone this long in your life and have never had that, I'm sure it would be probably pretty shocking
Yeah.
and
No
pretty
kidding.
spooky for those
Yeah.
of us that have
I grew up
experienced
with it.
stuff.
So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for those not sensitive, I could see that really not going over well.
yeah.
But that's why the chicky thing is so crazy. How much energy does it take to become so solid that you can hold an object? Touche.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's
Yeah.
that's a whole thing.
That's the whole
And
thing.
just to be there at the right moment too, and just I don't
Yeah.
know, that probably a lot of energy, and maybe it had its own energy field, but maybe it was drawing energy from the two of you guys.
Yeah. Could have been. Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Aaron also says, after my mother died, I swore I felt her, but kept getting told I was full of shit. So I wrote a letter to her and burned it, a way that my sister in law, a Wiccan, told me I could communicate with her, and still do that to this day. I
That's
love
cool.
that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry people told you that you were full of shit. And I think people that dismiss that kind of stuff, um, I feel like it's unfair because just because they're not experiencing it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't legitimately experiencing it. Yes, we can make ourselves believe certain things if we want to. That is a human trait for sure. But,
Mhm.
I'm sorry that you got kind of, told you were full of shit because that's not fair. But I do think that you writing a letter and doing it in that way, I think that's a really good, healthy way to deal with that for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We all have to find our best ways to be able to, connect. And some of
Yeah.
us can do it in this kind of way, and some people need to write the letters, and everybody just finds something else that works for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I also have a weird thing about my mom. My mom passed away this year in February. Um, and the literally the day of, right, the day I got the news and everything, I was obviously just defeated. You know, it's like it's your mom. You never know what to do with that or how to process it, or I'm pretty emotionally level. Like I don't freak out necessarily, but this was big. So like
Yeah, absolutely.
I left work. Nothing was important. I'm like I'm going wherever I need to go. So I went to Roxy, to kind of comfort and everything. But I was like, I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna go stop by and get some food real quick. So Jordan's with me, and we're going through the Taco Bell, um, and ordering whatever, and they're like, oh, we're out of this, we're out of that, and I'm like, fuck, the one thing I want right now is not fucking drive-through service. You know what I mean? I just want fucking food right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like super defeated, like kind of like in that like depressive mode, like okay, whatever. I'll just take a Mountain Dew, whatever. And so like I get to the drive-thru, I'm like getting ready to pay, and they're like, you know what? No, it's on the house, it's fine. Like here. And like I know that's such like a small gesture, but I like broke the fuck down. I was gone. I was like snotting, crying, like yelling. I don't know what to do. But it was just,
Wow.
and the only thing I could think was like, oh, like thanks, mom. Like it's a huge thing. Like I don't believe in like that kind of stuff, but like that was weird. It was like,
It
okay,
was like a present, like here you go, don't worry
yeah,
about it. An
yeah,
act of kindness when you really
yeah,
needed it.
yeah. Like this one's on the house. I was like, holy shit, like that hasn't happened before. You know?
That's really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah,
And maybe it was her somehow facilitating that, or maybe it was the person is as empathetic as you are and just felt like, what, this homie needs a present right
yeah.
now.
Right, right.
He's having a day. I could just feel it. Whatever
Yeah,
the case may be, I'm glad that made you feel good.
yeah. No, it's definitely. Well, I
Made you
mean,
feel so
in the
good.
moment, it was like a cluster of what the fuck, like what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it was an experience for sure.
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
you heard or felt or seen your mom since she's been gone?
I hmm, kind of, I guess, in really interesting ways. Um, I don't know if it's like directly or what it is, but I think like the week of um, I'm in a like Einstein Brothers or something, like getting a bagel, um, and something like I don't know why, something just made me like look over, and there was a sign that said "Make your mother proud today," and it was another one of those things I just like kind of lost it because I was like, this is too fresh for all this right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's a sign of that or if it's just coincidence. I'm just super sensitive to that, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It's unexplainable for sure. So,
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's what you take from it is what really matters.
yeah,
Whether that was placed there for you, or you were led to go to that place to see that sign. I think it doesn't really matter as much as the point of the message itself.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
that's a
sure.
tough one. That's really it's tough, and especially you being so empathetic and so sensitive to this kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah,
Having such an emotional experience, I'm sure, is not easy to say the least.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure there'll come a time where it'd probably be more like you know, uh, more visible or like physical. I'm not sure if somewhere down the line it's going to be as vivid, as my other experiences are or not. I'm not really, you know, I guess not looking forward to it, but also not opposed to it. I guess so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that's something that you would welcome, or something that you could kind of do without because it's too personal for you.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't really know what to do with it. Every other experience I had was someone I didn't know, as far as I am aware of. So
What if she popped up with a rake? Would that make you feel a little bit better?
I don't know what I would do with that.
Just like comic relief, like it's fine, right? It's totally hi. It's
Right,
fine.
right, yeah.
Oh man.
Like this is what you want your ghost to do, right? Like this. Raker's gonna rake. I mean,
Totally.
it's a thing. Like hashtag it right now. Hashtag Raker's gonna rake.
Oh man. All right, so as far as like you having, you know, situations like you had in the Widow's Peak, where you just
Mhm.
felt that, what other kind of experiences have you had where you felt that kind of like a story, like where you're feeling the story of the past?
um, Pretty much everywhere, man. Like I'll
Holy
walk into some,
shit.
I'll go to like a store and I'm like, I hate this. Like I don't know why, but I hate this. I hate this whole thing. I have to leave. Yeah.
Really?
It's almost like what I would imagine like people with like super bad anxiety feel. Like it's like that fight or flight. Like I have to leave now. Like I gotta go now, kind of thing. You
Oh
know.
man.
I definitely
So
felt
when
that.
these things happen, do you like try to look deeper into it, or like hear or feel deeper into it to be like, okay, what is it specifically that I'm feeling right now? Like, do you ever try to like decode these feelings?
Um, I don't think that I do because my immediate response is fight or flight. So it's like, okay, so I gotta leave, or what else is gonna happen? I guess like what do I do? Do I just like be a dick to somebody for no reason? Because like that's happened before in the past where like
Hmm.
moods have totally changed and I'm just like I'm a dick right now. I guess I don't know. So
Interesting. Okay. It affects you that much. But you have
yeah,
no backstory on any of it. Just you'll just go into a place and you're picking up on something that is there
yeah,
and you just have to bail out.
hmm
Shit.
yeah.
Well, since you went into so many houses before, did you feel like this was something that happened in a lot of the houses that you had to go into for your job?
Yeah, and it happened. I mean, it still happens, to this day. I just did a property, I think, like probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I think this was more of like a visual trigger because it was just weird. Like I've never seen this before, and it just kind of like sparked like weird fear feelings in me. I was like, what the hell is this? So I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but like instead of bedrooms having a closet, they have like a little like half room thing. So there's like a little tiny door, and you open it, and the tile's like waist high, and then it's like this long like weird hallway room thing, but you have to like kind of crawl up into it.
Oh,
And so
that's
it
weird.
it automatically made me think of like every horror movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. That's why you hide the bodies,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Or
So
imprison
just
people. Oh.
exactly, yeah. So like just based on the visual, I think alone was like, oh, that's creepy. Like I don't like that. But then like I started kind of like inspecting it, and I'm like, okay, like the tiles like pulled up on this corner, kind of funky. Like why would you do that unless you were hiding dead bodies there? I'm not going to look too much into this. I have a job to do. But
Oh.
yeah, I think the only feeling I had was just like, oh, that's creepy. That'd be a great horror set.
Yeah. Okay, so I can understand like where you're like, okay, visual cue. Now I'm just spooked from
Yeah,
something I
yeah.
saw. But a lot of these circumstances, like with the guy in the door and whatever, like
Mhm.
there was nothing to tip you off. You were just normal day. Everything's totally normal and fine, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you get like overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you ever tried to tap into these kind of things purposefully?
Um, no, everything just comes up at random. Really, it's just like I'm living my life. I don't have much time to like kind of dawdle because I have a lot of things going on. I have music stuff and work stuff and whatever kind of stuff. But if something happens, I'm like, oh, that was weird. Okay,
Like
and I
no
just kind of
Ouija
move on.
boards or any shit like that when you're a kid. No, like fucking with any of that kind of stuff.
No thanks, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
I, I guess I don't want to like I don't want to welcome everybody at once kind of thing. So like Ouija board is out of my realm because I don't know what I'm going to get myself into, and I'm not
Yes.
experienced with that.
Wise.
So yeah, so
Very,
not
very,
not really
very
my forte.
wise.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. It is so interesting that you just have this natural knack for
yeah.
this. And it's just like this extreme empathy that, like, somehow, like, supersedes just like
Mhm.
human interactions. There is just, you have a very distinct extra sense about you. Do you
Yeah.
enjoy the fact that you have it? Or do you see it as a curse, or is it like a blessing and a curse kind of thing? Like, how do you feel about it?
Um, I just kind of feel neutral about it. It's not like I don't feel like I have like a gift or whatever. I don't feel like I have to be like a hero. It's not like a you know complex kind of thing. It's just kind of like oh, that was weird that that happened. I don't feel like I'm you know opening myself to it, but not closing myself off. Like there's a
Sure.
possibility, and things kind of show up. You know,
So that being
so
said, Roxy mentions, okay, so RJ isn't going to Goldfield with us
no, I'm
because
down.
we're okay.
Like
I
I'm
was
down
going
to
to ask,
go.
how do you feel about specifically going to places that are known to have like spooky historic kind of stuff? Like, you're good with
Yeah.
that?
I just don't know how I'm gonna feel. So I guess it kind of depends on the rest of the party how they feel about it. Like if I turn into an axe murderer or something, then sorry.
Sorry, please
But
forgive me.
we have a history in our family. I don't know if you know about that or not, but
Would you like to share?
I can. Yeah, I mean, if if I can go into that, I gotta ask Roxy first.
Roxy, is it okay if he shares the story?
You know the family story.
I know the story, but I just want to make sure that she's okay if that is shared
Yeah, for sure.
publicly, which I think it's extremely interesting
Yeah,
of a story to share. So let's see what she's got to say. We need your permission.
need to go ahead.
And I have no idea if any of that is related to any of this, but I think it, at the very least,
Yeah,
is an interesting story.
yeah, right.
Roxy, answer. You must answer. Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Got the go ahead. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll just give kind of like the base story of it and kind of what I know from it. So I guess I don't know like specific dates. I haven't looked too much into it or anything, but I guess a long time ago in like rural Kansas, um, some distant family members of mine, some ancestors, had a like little bed and breakfast type deal like off the highway, um, and they'd have like guests and stuff there, and uh, I'm not sure if they like. I'm not sure if this was their focus or if it just kind of like developed into this, but every once in a while, I guess they would end up luring somebody inside and killing them with a hammer. So they like
With
get
the
them all,
hammer.
yeah. So they like get them all set up, and they're eating breakfast or whatever, and just like bam, like done. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that happened like I think there were like 4 or 5 confirmed murders that were in that house. So
Wow.
I
With a
mean,
hammer too. That's a hell of a like choice.
it's a big swing.
It is.
Yeah,
It seems like there's much less messy ways of
Le Bonk.
dealing with that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's
Yeah.
it is very interesting. Roxy said she was watching a TV show and they actually told the story
Yeah. Yeah.
about this.
The Bloody Benders are on books and documentaries and stuff like that, which is what people called them. You know. So.
The bloody benders. So
Mhm.
they were just robbing them and taking their money and their resources and then
I
killing
would
them.
I would assume that they like yeah I would assume that they lured them in and killed them and then like took whatever they had to like keep the business running because I mean if you kill off your customers you're not getting the finances from them I guess right.
True, true.
So
Unless they
that would
have a
be
big bag of gold and they're trying to make it across the country or whatever, and rather than getting, you know, one gold shilling, you get like the whole bag of gold shillings or what. I don't know if we had shillings. I don't know, but you know what I
yeah
mean.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that's my
That's
assumption that they
interesting.
took whatever that person had. So I mean, you know,
Huh.
yeah,
Chid. Chid, was that wrong? I love Chid's alter ego right now, the Botsnotter Esquire.
nice.
Mystery solved on that one. Um, so yeah, so Kate Bender, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
Kate Bender. I definitely want to check out that series anyway because that sounds very very interesting. Deadly Women,
right,
which
yeah,
generally speaking, weirdly enough, most of the murderers that we all know about are men.
yes,
The people that do the shootings and everything, the mass
hmm
shootings and all that stuff, it's
yeah,
all seems to be men.
men,
Obviously, it's not like women have not done this, but I wonder what it is. I wonder if it has to do with just that women are just more empathetic in general.
could be.
I don't know. I wonder what makes that gender divide so distinct.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
having a
sure. I
whole show
mean,
about a few deadly women, I'm like, interesting.
yeah,
There's a few out there at least.
yeah. I mean, I have a book on my bookshelf about like female serial killers and crazy stuff. I wonder if my
Oh,
ancestors are in there. I haven't even looked at it.
oh no! You totally. That would be very interesting.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's definitely, it's not something that you're like, well, I'm so proud of this story, but at the same
no,
time, like it's history, and it's not you. It doesn't define you or Roxy or your family. It's just it's interesting that times used to be so different, and
hmm,
people have made some very distinct choices, and
right,
you'll never know what was going through their minds. Not like there's like really a great reason ever to murder people, but who knows? Like it could have been something where they were backed on taxes and they were going to lose their whole home and their business, and their family
right,
would suffer if they didn't acquire these funds in some kind of way or whatever. Like you just never know somebody's story. You
yeah,
know, Roxy says, "Well, go look. It's called an index."
right.
Oh man. Oh my god,
For
that's
sure. Yeah,
that's so
I'll have
funny.
to do that eventually and look into more stuff. I haven't, dove into that just yet.
I'm kind of surprised. I feel like if it was me and I had some kind of like interesting family history, like I feel like I would have dug deep into it and tried to like
Yeah,
see all the details. But that's me.
yeah,
I'm a fucking weirdo. So
right. I guess I like subconsciously try to like distance myself from it just because I've had so many just weird things that happen. I was just trying to like let's try to be normal for a minute.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that is fair.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's an interesting story. It's interesting that
yeah,
you were able to like directly trace that back to
yeah.
your ancestors. And they did get caught. They got caught and were imprisoned or
Uh, I
whatever.
th- I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they got caught and all that. I'm not. I think Roxy would know more about it, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, because as it's been documented, I'm pretty sure that it would have continued if they weren't caught. At least for a while. But,
Yeah, and
like,
having the confirmed kills, like it was confirmed that there was
yeah,
at least
like
five.
4 or 5 kills or whatever. Yeah, something like that. So
Dang.
yeah,
Better than 10,
yeah, 10,
20.
20. Yeah.
Gotta
I
look on
mean,
the bright side.
yeah, right.
Huh.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
That's interesting. But as
Yeah.
far as you having this kind of this like natural knack at things, is
Hmm.
this something that you and your dad have talked about? Like I know that it seems like up until recent times Rux was kind of saying that like he didn't really want to talk about it a lot, and you were saying before that like you told him about one of the experiences and he just kind of like shoved it under the rug. Like have you guys ever sat and like had a conversation about this, because both of you guys have this very similar thing, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's worth talking about.
I think we talked a little bit on like a car ride one time, and he kind of like you could kind of see him like open up a little bit and kind of like let the wall down a bit. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I mean, I see shit all over the place. I'm driving down the street and I see kids in the road, and I'm like, what the fuck. And he just says that happens like all the time. So he tries to just shut it out as much as possible because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
see that. He doesn't want to be like sad and depressed all the time because of
Yeah.
all that stuff. Because he's an empath like me, so he's very like, oh, like I feel what they feel kind of thing. So he doesn't want to see that all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, it's interesting as well because speaking of like, more killers are men than women.
yeah,
Generally speaking, people that are this empathetic and connected to this kind of realm and
hmm,
psychics and all of that kind of stuff tend to generally be more women.
yeah,
So men, it seems for some reason, I don't know why, it seems like a more rare trait to be born with this kind of ability. Although on the weird other flip side of that, it seems like a lot of the biggest psychics that we know of our times, or way back in the day, some of the most seemingly powerful ones seem to be the men. So it's like
it's
it's more
it's
common
systemic.
for women to have this ability, but
Yeah,
then the few men that seem to have it, it's like extremely heightened in them.
yeah, yeah. I think it's just systemic. Like men get all the praise for the gift or whatever. It's probably
You
equally
might be right.
divided. Honestly, like we don't know.
You might be right. But when
Yeah.
you think back to like some of like the big, you know, big names or whatever, like a lot of them tend to be men. And even, Nostradamus, like
Yeah.
one of the seemingly most powerful like prophets of our time, basically,
Right. Right.
like being a man. So, maybe from back in the day, if you were too connected with these things as a woman, it was
You're a witch.
definitely witch. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
witchcraft. So, maybe women had to be more careful to keep it under wraps. Although men were also persecuted as witches as well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not as many for sure.
Not
Women
as
were
much. Yeah.
definitely the target for that. But
Hmm.
it's very cool that you just like naturally have that, and I think it's really cool the way that you handle it as well, with
Hmm.
grace. And you're like, okay, if this is what it is, we're just gonna roll with it. You're not trying to avoid it like the plague, but you're also not trying to open up these doorways, because a lot of times when you really open shit, it's really hard to
Hmm.
control what's coming in, and to close it again if you ever need to close it. It is not an easy
Yeah.
task. I had to work on that many years ago, and that was a very long-winded task. It took years for
Yeah.
me to like be like, no, 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 thank you. I see you. I hear you. No, thank you. Nope.
Hmm.
No, thank you. And then it's like, la la la. I don't hear you. I don't see you. Like
Yeah.
I had to really work through that personally, because
Yeah.
similarly to yourself, as a young person, I had these kind of interactions as well sometimes, and it was very unsettling for me at the time. It wasn't as much feeling residual, which I definitely do feel residual, but at that time it was way more directly interactive with
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
which was fucking horrifying,
Hmm.
because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is not my favorite thing right now.
Hmm.
Like, why are you trying to talk to me? But I felt like it's because they knew that I
Hmm.
could see them, hear them, whatever, like I
Right.
could pick up the information that they were trying to give out. And
Hmm.
sometimes it got really loud,
Yeah.
and it scared the shit out of me. And I didn't tell people about it for a long time, because I didn't think anybody would understand, and I thought that people would think I was crazy. So I just didn't
Yeah.
fucking talk about it. And
Yeah.
I started doing Ouija board stuff, which
Oh man.
now, yeah, it was not the best. But I will say that I did start doing those things because I didn't know another way to connect with that part of me. Like, I was
Yeah.
having these interactions, and I'm like, I'm tuned in. I'm tuned in somehow, and I feel like this stuff is legit. And I kind of
Right.
wanted
Right.
validation. I needed some kind of validation that I wasn't fucking crazy. So, okay, let me open up these channels. Let me see what happens. Therefore, I will know that it's real. I will feel validated. And
Yeah.
then now my ability has like a home. It has like a place, because I'm doing these things. Before it was just like I'm a little kid staying the night at my grandparents' house, like
Hmm.
terrified out of my fucking mind. Like, to this day, I don't
Right.
think I've ever had that like pure fear feeling, like just ultimate fear, fear, fear. Like, I think I've only felt that one real time,
Yeah.
and that was when I was a kid, and that's when I was like, I'm too old to stay at grandma's house. I'm
Right.
just feel like I'm a little too old, but really, I didn't feel like I was too old. I was just like, fuck that shit. Like, I am not
Right.
getting involved in that.
Bye,
Oh, good
Turbo.
night, Turbo. We love you.
I seen ya.
And yes, I was too legit to quit, but I finally had to quit because it was crazy. It was
Right.
just very. It was something that in my family we have always had, what was called, at the time, which it doesn't seem as relevant as a term now, but ESP,
Yeah.
extrasensory perception. So my
Hmm.
mom was like, all the women in my family, we've all had ESP, we've all done psychic stuff.
Yeah.
So this is just like the way it is. So as a young kid, I was just told, this is just what happens. It's not, it's like, shocking in a like, whoa, that was crazy way, but it wasn't shocking as far as like, this does not exist. It was like, this is just the way it is, and we all accept it, and weird stuff
Yeah.
happens around us. Um, so just kind of going through life, I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's all right that I have this extra sense about me, and other people in my family did too. It's fine. But when I started getting the spooky stuff, I don't know. I just felt like nobody would understand or nobody would believe me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, come to find out way later down the road, one day I'll tell the whole story on the podcast if anybody's interested. Um,
Heck
but
yeah.
my mom, man, my mom's like the most honest person that I've ever met in my entire life. And she would never lie for the sake of a story ever. Like, I trust
Mm.
her word more than anything. And shit went down when she was young. She lived in a legitimately haunted house, and it's because they fucked with the Ouija board after my grandfather died.
Oh, whoops.
They didn't
Yeah.
know. Everyone's psychic in the family. We're all connected. Grandfather's gone. Hey, let's see if we can talk to him. We're all real sensitive. Let's see if we can talk to him. And
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
shit that should not have come through came through, and didn't want to leave. And my mom had some crazy stories when she was younger about the shit that she dealt with. So when she got older, she slammed that door shut. She didn't want to think about it. She didn't want to talk about it. She didn't like ghost stories and stuff like that. Made her really, really uncomfortable. But I didn't know this shit until later. So
Yeah.
I'm experiencing a lot of the stuff as a little kid.
Mm.
And come to find out later on, my grandmother's like, let me tell you some stories. And I was like, oh my God. Like, now it makes so much more sense. Like, thank God I can actually talk about it and not
Right.
sound like a crazy person. So, similarly to yourself, like, I've always had that kind of natural knack for things. And I do get those vibes, like, from places. I get these really distinct, like, messages almost. But it seems like a lot of the interactions I've had have been direct, like sentient. Like, I haven't had as many residual type of things. It's more
Mm.
like something is conscious and it's like, you fucking see me. And I'm like, no, I don't. Fuck you. I don't
Yeah.
see anything. And they're like, yeah, right. You fucking do. So that to me is more unsettling because I don't know what the intention is
Hmm.
of this person or thing or whatever. And I have definitely had some really spooky, dark shit happen.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite thing to have to deal with. So I'm just so glad that in your experiences, you have had very like benign experiences and not as much like physical interacting with you. Like the one
Yeah.
specifically, like the guy in the door, like you got the message. The message was
Yeah.
fuck off. And
Yeah.
you're like, I would fuck off if I could, but it's my job and I literally can't. I am so sorry.
Like, I
I'm
need a
coming in
paycheck. I'm
anyway.
sorry.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah.
is, sometimes you're like, I can't respect your space right now.
Yeah.
But going into like spooky places and stuff, like I've definitely had some bizarre experiences, like in the Winchester Mystery House,
Oh yeah.
and
I
various
I
other
haven't been there
locations.
yet.
It's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
highly, highly, highly recommend for anybody to go there, just based on just like architecture alone. It's
Yeah.
unfucking believable. It's so awesome. But I wonder what you would feel from that spot because there's a specific room in there.
Hmm.
There's like hundreds of rooms. It's like 160
Yeah.
rooms or something
Right.
like
Right.
that. It's like the most rooms ever. And there was this two rooms that got me. We had to walk through the bedroom of like, Miss Winchester's bedroom,
Yeah.
and that's where she died actually.
Mm.
And that I definitely felt a very, very heavy vibe in that room, more so than the rest of the house. But then we walked through and we went into this little small room, and as soon
Mm.
as we walked in, I got like extremely uncomfortable. Like I got like really hot. And
Oh
I was
wow.
just kind of like, oh, like I just felt like I couldn't breathe as well, and it just felt really stuffy, and I just felt like I feel uncomfortable in this space. What the fuck is going on? And
Yeah.
they're like, all right, this is the heart of the house. This is the room that Miss Winchester would do the seances every night at midnight and summon the spirits and connect with the spirits so they would tell her what else to build. And I was like, well, of course it's the heart of the friggin' house, man. Like,
Right, right.
I felt it as soon as I walked in. I was like, oh, what the fuck? And it wasn't like evil or
Hmm.
threatening necessarily, but it was very distinct, like energy change.
Yeah, yeah,
So, it's good and bad. Like we were talking about, like it's a blessing and a curse because it is really cool. I think to be connected to things
yeah,
beyond what we can see. I
right.
think that is really neat rather than just living with blinders on and not having any idea of the depth and the layers that
Yeah.
are here on this earth. Like
Mhm.
places hold energy somehow, some way. I can't explain exactly how they do it, but they fucking do.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm glad that I can pick up on it. It's also good as far as instinctual goes too, because I can feel just like you, like, oh no, I gotta fucking go. Something's not
Yeah,
right.
I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm good. Like,
Time to fucking go. There's been a few times where I'm like, nope,
yeah.
rolling out, man. Gots
Hmm.
to go.
Hmm.
Gots to. Actually, your dad has similar stuff too that he'll tell us more about next week. He said similarly that he'll walk up to places and he'll just be like, no, and
Yeah,
turn
not
around and
today.
fucking leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope. So yeah, it's really cool, but sometimes it can be a little bit draining when you're like, I just want to go to this restaurant, like why is it a spooky restaurant that's making me feel uncomfortable right now? I just want to hang out and be like a
Right.
normal person for a while, but it's hard to tune out some
Hmm.
of this stuff when we're just naturally like empathetic people
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I had one experience I thought was like a super evil thing because it was so long and so like vivid.
Ooh,
Like
tell me.
I, so I don't know the exact time frame, but it must have been like somewhere through childhood. I want to say through like 8 to you know uh, at least into my teens, so maybe like almost man, almost 9 years. I had the same nightmare for about 9 years. Like every once in a while, I would be like, "Oh no, oh here it is again," and then we just go through it, and it's like, here we go.
No
So
shit, the same
mhm.
exact
Exactly
thing.
like it was a movie I had seen before, every single time. Yeah, and I
How
could not.
often did you have it?
Um, so it wasn't like every single night, but it was like I want to say 2 3 times a week.
Oh my god,
So
that's a lot.
it was like the average. Yeah, for like almost 10 years was kind of insane. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, Whitney, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you were listening along. Happy to have you, lovely. Wow, 9, 10 years of
Hmm.
multiple times a week.
Hmm.
Oh my god, okay. Tell me, start to finish. Tell me the tale.
Okay. So man, this might kick off the dreams again. I don't know. I haven't had them in a while, but we'll see
If you
how it
don't want to
goes.
talk about it, I a million percent understand.
Yeah, I
It's up to
think
you.
I think I've like mentally trapped whatever that was. So I'm not sure what kind of like entity this would be. If it would be like just in my head or some sort of thing to just like cope with what was going on at the time or what. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, I mean, I had this dream where um, I'm like climbing up like kind of like cobblestone like steps, and there's like vines and just stuff, stuff around. And the whole dream, which seemed like you know 30 seconds or whatever, would last like the entire night. I'd wake up and be drenched in sweat and just like I don't know what the fuck I am right now, kind of thing. But so I'm walking up these steps, and at the top of the steps was like a big like pathway, like a really long, narrow like cobblestone pathway. And around it, it seemed like it would kind of like trail off and get more narrow. And all that was on the sides was just like fire. Like there was just fire for no reason. And I'm like, what the hell am I walking into right now? Like the first time I had the dream, I'm like, whoa, like this is kind of intense. Like I don't know what this is or anything. This is like the description of hell basically. There's just like fire and just stuff around. Um,
Oof.
and yeah, I mean the dream is just me walking toward the narrow cobblestone path, and there'd be a figure like way off in the distance, just like some figure of somebody in like a dark cloak kind of thing with like a hood and like that whole thing, the whole getup.
Like the
But
scariest thing possible, basically.
yeah, like the weirdest thing possible in the scariest setting ever. Yeah, so one of those things.
Fuck.
Not like like scary, but like this
Looming and watching from the distance.
yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Ugh.
in the 9, 10 years whenever I had the dream, I never reached who the person was. So the dream would like cut off as soon as I like got to like reaching out to whatever it was, and then I'd wake up, and then next couple days I would have the dream again, the same exact thing. I'm crawling up the steps, and I'm like, please, like I need to know what this is, but it would be the same outcome.
With fire and flames and a
Mm-hmm.
creepy guy watching you, and you were trying to get to him to ask
Yeah.
what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you never were able to get any answers or any interaction at all.
So
Fuck. That's very frustrating.
it is super frustrating. And then I just didn't have the dream anymore for some reason.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Any theories on this?
uh, no, I have no idea what that would be.
Really?
Yeah.
That many times over and over and over and
Mm-hmm.
over. Do you feel like okay, it's going to be a weird question, but I have had many dreams. I've had good dreams, bad dreams, nightmares, but I have also had it like what I would consider interdimensional dreams,
Yeah.
interacting with some really spooky, dark, really
Mm-hmm.
fucked up shit. And I could feel the difference between a regular dream that might be spooky
Mm-hmm.
and a legitimate interaction in a legitimate place of some sort. Some of these
Yeah.
places that I have been to in my dream world, I don't know if I created it. I really don't think so. I think something else created it, or the space somehow exists interdimensionally somehow. So, do
Yeah.
you feel like this was an actual, like, interdimensional situation for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of people like, you know, going to different places while they sleep or whatever, and that whole thing. But I'm not super sure. It happened when I was little, so I don't know. Like if it was something that I triggered or something that my brain conjured up to like, cope with, hard times, like things that were going on or whatever. It's like, hey, just think about this or whatever. Here, have this. You know, but
Wow.
I
That's
think
hard though, having it
subconscious.
over and over and over and over and over the
Yeah.
same exact thing. Because some people
Hmm.
have had, dreams that they go to the same place, but things are a little bit different. But that's
Yeah.
very interesting that it was just the literal same thing over and
Yeah.
over and over. And
Yeah.
you always reacted the same way? Like you always did the same exact actions and the same things every time?
It was like rewatching a movie. It was like the same exact scene, but the thoughts were different because I'm thinking as it's happening. I'm like, I've seen this before. Like, why am I here again? Can I get out? No, I can't get out. Okay, so I guess we just have to do this again
So
and
you were
try to.
lucid every time. You knew you were dreaming and you knew that you were trapped in this place
Yes.
every time.
Yep.
Oh
And
wow.
it was like the equivalent of like having sleep paralysis but dreaming. So like you're not looking in your physical world, but you're looking in like the mental like dream world, but you cannot leave. You're like stuck there for that duration, then you wake up.
Shit. Did
Because
you
like when you
try
lucid
different
dream,
different things at all though? Like because you were lucid, you tried different
yeah,
like ways to get up there to the guy?
yeah. So I was gonna say like with lucid dreaming, you can be like, oh, I'm gonna imagine this happening, and then something else would happen because you can control it. Like oh, I'm gonna fly now and try to do something else. But it was literally like a barrier. It was like my mental barrier was like, nope, you're not doing this. Like this is how the scene is.
I wonder if something else was restricting you from having that
Maybe.
kind of control. Whoever this thing
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you don't have control over this. This is my fucking party and you're in my
Mhm.
party and you can try as hard as you want, but you can't do
Yeah.
anything besides what I'm allowing you to do, which is
Mhm.
never reach the end."
Yep.
Did you have any kind of like projected like images or feelings, thoughts, words or anything that this creature person was projecting to you at all?
Uh, No, it basically didn't even seem alive. It was just something that was there, not doing anything, just standing.
What? Dude,
Yeah.
that's horrifying.
Mhm.
That's really fucking scary. Multiple times a week.
Yep.
Are you lucid in your other dreams frequently? Or was this like a special case?
I want to say it's a special case because I don't even remember the last dream I had. Like
Really?
when I sleep at night now, I don't have dreams that I can recall. But this one specifically was like very a part of my sleeping history. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's so you're not an avid dreamer. You're not a vivid dreamer, or
Mhm.
at least dream recall is not your forte.
Right. Yeah. I probably remember one dream a month now. Like I can't recall you know like it used to when I was a kid, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's really strange. I'm glad that you shared that, and I certainly hope that it doesn't come back. But that is a very interesting visual that you had over and over and over again. And I
yeah.
wonder what the point was because I truly, my own personal beliefs, I truly believe that we can go places like
Yeah.
astral traveling when we are asleep. And I don't
Hmm.
think every single dream that we have is that. I think sometimes our brain's firing off weird shit, remembering places we went or people that we talked to or whatever. I totally recognize that sometimes shit is just dreams and it's weird. But
Yeah.
I do believe that there is the ability to go elsewhere
Yeah.
and I think we create our reality a lot of times too. Kind of like What Dreams May Come. Have you seen that movie, What Dreams May Come?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so after he's dead, he is in his vision. Like I think that we all kind of create our own little
Right.
places. Oh, we got a raid music mixer.
Woo!
Hey,
Hey, hey.
thank you for raiding in. Party of
Right
one,
up.
music mixer. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're actually talking right now with RJ, Roxy's brother, about very spooky things. Right now, we're talking about
Spooky things.
lucid dreams and astral traveling.
Hmm.
And yeah, as I was saying, I do really think that not only can we create our own environments and potentially be able to bring others into those, I think
Hmm.
that others can also create environments based on their own thoughts and whatever, and potentially be able to bring us into them. And if we're not doing it on purpose,
Hmm.
that's what makes it messed up. Like if you're like, okay, I'm zoning in, I'm gonna go into the astral realm, I'm looking to travel right now, then at
Yeah.
least it's like more expected. But
Hmm.
sometimes all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, boom, you're in some creepy, fucked up environment where I'm like, I don't think I created this. I don't
Hmm.
think this is my mind. I really highly doubt that my mind created this place. And sometimes it's so extremely detailed where I can remember what it smells like what it feels like
Yeah.
all the little details, every little tiny detail, I can recall as if it's an actual place. So, like, did my mind just all of a sudden come up with this vast detail in a split second? Like, I don't think so. I think this is a legitimate traveling experience, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, my traveling experiences have been to creepy, fucked up places. Similarly to yours, Tavia, who just popped in, and I'm so glad that you popped in at the perfect time. Um, she has beautiful dreams that are extremely detailed and
Really.
where she feels as interdimensional type of stuff, but like so beautiful and wonderful. Like she's so
Hmm.
blessed to be tapped in to be going to these lovely places. And then
Yeah.
unfortunately, um, I have not been as lucky, and it seems like unfortunately you are not as lucky either.
Nope. Not as lucky.
But what is it like? That really makes me wonder. There's a lot of questions and a lot of layers in this one. Like, what is it that's connecting you to this realm so much so that you have visually seen so many different entities, been directly communicated with on multiple occasions.
Hmm.
Um, just your empathetic nature anyway, where you can tap into this stuff. But now you've got a whole different element going on where there is something really dark that was just consistent over and
Hmm.
over and over and over and over and over for
Yeah.
years.
Hmm.
And you have no theories. And that sucks because
I
you
have
kept
nothing. I'm
trying
like,
to
I don't
get
know what that
answers.
means. I mean, the best I can come up with is just like I don't know, like stuff's just like difficult, I guess. Like the road, the road through life is hard, and maybe there is an end, but it's just you don't know what the end is. Like you don't know what's obtainable and what's not, but you're trying to reach it. I don't know if it's like metaphorical or you know, I don't know.
I think that's a nice thought. I think that to take away from that, like, okay, let's think about metaphorically what could this mean, but
Yeah.
really like hearing the details of it.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It really seems uh I don't know. It's it seems like it was something directly
Yeah.
trying to get a rise out of you or something, or maybe I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I knew, but maybe in a way it's better off that you don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. Like they say curiosity killed the cat, but with this one, like would you rather know even if it was something like kind of dark and spooky, or are you happy that you never found out and it just stopped?
Yeah, I guess it kind of sucks that there was no like resolve. You know what I mean? It's kind of like playing a song forever that doesn't end. Like over and over again. It just like stops on a hard note, and you're like, but it needs to end. Like you need to end, kind of thing.
Right. So
So it
it's
kind of
just kind of
bugs
more
me.
frustrating than anything else.
Yeah, I mean the first time I had it, I was terrified, but like after a while, I was like, okay, this is getting like I'm getting like aggressive. Like I need to know like what this is. I need to know why I'm here. I need to know why it's happening this much. I need to know who that guy is. What's going on.
Yeah, and there's no answers, but I find it very interesting that it is the only time that you can recall being lucid
Mm,
in your dreams, which is what really makes me think that it very possibly was some kind of interdimensional
yeah.
situation, because you weren't just having a dream and you wake up and you're like, oh, that's weird. You knew every time what was happening and you're like, oh, here
Mm,
we fucking go again. And you keep trying different routes and it just was not changing the outcome at all. That sounds horribly frustrating.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
You have detailed dreams about like sports and traveling. That's cool. Huh.
Huh.
And you can fly and
Yeah, Music
levitate.
Messenger said, I think
Interesting.
when I dream, I astral dream every night is really detailed like a movie.
Wow.
Minecraft, sports, and traveling. I wonder if that is directly related to, your interests at the time, and that's just something that is, really prominent in your mind. But being uh, lucid during it, that is pretty cool that you can affect the outcome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's awesome. And being able to fly and levitate, I've been able to fly a few times, not as many times as I would like to, but there's
Yeah.
been quite a few flying dreams that I have had, and it's always awesome. I had them a bunch when I was a kid, actually, and then they kind of like tapered off
Yeah.
over time. But I remember as a kid thinking how cool it was, because it's kind of funny. I remember the feeling. You ever like just have these memory imprints of like the feeling of a very specific thing that maybe you've done as a kid or whatever. For some reason in
Yeah.
this dream when I was a kid, I knew how to fly. I would run and I would do this very specific kind of jump. And then it's kind of like swimming where your legs kind of like
Oh yeah.
and I would do that and I could go up and I'd be super high like over the town and I would think it's just like the coolest thing. But whenever I would go back into a dream again where I knew that I could fly, maybe I was lucid at the time and I didn't even realize it as a kid, but I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, I got this flying thing. Don't even worry. Like I'm like a flying master over here. Like I have to do this very specific thing."
Yeah.
And actually, I had a dream. This one's really funny. I had a dream that I was flying with Scully from the X Files, and we were hanging out, and I was like, Scully, like, we can fly. And she's being all like, Scully literal. She's like, we can't fly. That's not logical. That doesn't make
Right.
sense. And I'm like,
Right.
no, you have to trust me. You have to trust me, Scully. Like, you just have to believe. Let's do it. You know, like, hold my hand and we'll do it together. And I was flying with Scully, and she was kind of like, no shit. You know, like, huh, I didn't think that
Right.
was possible. That was the whole dream. So that was kind of
Nice.
a funny flying dream. And then there was another time I flew with Drew Barrymore.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know.
Nice.
I dreamt that I was hanging out with her and was friends with her many times. I've had a lot of dreams about being friends with celebrities, which is weird because I'm not like a celebrity gossip person. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really specifically care. I'm not up to date on the, all the news and all the stuff or whatever. But
Yeah.
there's specific people that I have had interactions with multiple times in dreams. And one of them, um, oh, Oh, sorry, real quick though. I had a dream with Mulder and Scully from the X Files. We were investigating an X File. That's awesome, Music Mixer. That's awesome.
Nice.
I love that just happened. Shit, now I lost track of what I was going to say. What was I going to
Oh
say?
no.
Oh, yeah. So, one of my consistent celebrity dream hangouts is I have hung out with Ben Folds so many fucking times.
Okay.
It is so bizarre. I'm,
It's
I'm
so
a big Ben
random.
Folds fan. I like Ben Folds a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know him as a person. I don't sit there and watch documentaries, like, all these
Yeah.
interviews with him and stuff like that. But I think he's fantastic and I love his music. But I
Right.
have hung out with him so many times to the degree where I feel like he has to have been dreaming about me too.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if Ben Folds is having dreams where he's like, that weird rainbow dreadlock lady with the funny black glasses keeps popping up in my fucking dream.
Right. Right.
And one day, my goal, I want to meet him and I want to directly ask him that question because it feels so real. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like we are like actually friends. We're
Yeah.
homies, you know? And then I wake up and I'm like, fuck, that sucks, dude. Yeah, without the five, just Ben Folds. Only Ben Folds. And it's
Nice.
not like romantic in any way or anything like that. It's just like every time we see each other, we're like, oh, it's so nice to see you, you know? Like, nice to see you again. What's up, man? And we just pick up where we left off and we have this like really fantastic friendship
Hmm.
in the
Nice.
dream world only. So that could totally just be a dream manifestation of my own mind.
Yeah.
100% could be that. But I have legitimate questions whether
Yeah.
we are actually hanging out somewhere in the middle. Like, maybe there's some weird middle place that we're both going to when we're
Yeah.
dreaming. And like I said, it's my goal. Someday I want to meet him and be like, this is a totally weird question and I know it, but I have dreamed that we've hung out so many times. Do you recognize me in any fucking way?
Right. Right. Maybe you're on the same string. Who knows?
Maybe so. There's some
Maybe.
weird little connection there that I have no clue why it is there. And it was the same thing with Drew Barrymore. It was many years ago. I was younger at the time, but I had multiple dreams where we've hung out.
Yeah.
Like, so
Weird.
many where I was like, this is my friend. And Maynard too. I have like a bunch of Maynard dreams.
Really?
And like, to be
Wow.
honest with you, like a lot. I've had probably 15 different hangouts with Maynard.
Wow.
And
What's he like?
tools like, honestly, he's very nice in the dreams. We have had great conversations, but my actual human mind
Yeah.
knows that in general, like, he seems like a cool guy if you know him personally, but
Yeah.
if you're just a fan or a rando person, he doesn't fucking have time for your shit. He
Mhm.
does not have time for anybody's shit. He is like, and I get it. I understand where he's coming from, man. He had so many people up his ass constantly for so
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
long.
Oh, yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, but I don't know. Maybe it's just totally random dream brain just doing the thing. But I find it very interesting that I've had certain reoccurring characters just pop
Yeah.
up where it's like, I want to hang out with these people in real life because I feel like we have some kind of rapport
Yeah.
already.
So similar to what Roxy's saying, in my dreams I definitely can't fly, but I've had a lot of falling dreams. I fall really good.
Really? You're a good faller?
Oh yeah, I'm a great faller. Yeah.
Oh. Have you actually hit the ground?
Yes.
Is that when you wake up?
So it's like, yeah, I mean, shortly after I wake up and like my chest is like hurting because your brain's like, what the fuck? Like you just fell off a building. Like what are you doing? You know?
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tavia said she has hit the ground and has seen her body being taken away, which I feel like is absolutely horrifying, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And Roxy has never hit the ground.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I haven't had too many falling dreams, but I don't recall ever hitting the ground. But Music
Yeah.
Mixer has a very interesting point. In my dreams, I can remember past dreams as if they were past events, evidence of astral phenomena. I've
Hmm.
had, I guess, similar things. So I don't know, but I have remembered previous dreams as if it was part of my experience
Yeah.
and been to similar places where I'm like, oh, I've totally been here before. This is that one
Mm.
place. And it's not a real place. So somehow I've like made it up in my mind, but I'm able to like revisit these same places and then have memory of the previous dream about what happened in the space in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it is some kind of evidence of a astral phenomena where it's like these things are actually happening on some
Mm.
other dimension, you know, and we're just able to tap back into that. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't
Really
know.
interesting.
Have you ever astral projected, or not
Um.
astral, but like yeah, like actually like left your body in a conscious state?
Mhm. Yeah. I think I
Ooh,
have one time. Yeah. So it's
tell
it's
me.
up it's up for debate because I'm not 100% sure. But like from reading into it more, because after it happened, I like had to look at it. I was like, wait a minute, like was that like a thing or what? Am I crazy? Like what's going on? Nothing crazy happened, like nothing major happened. It was just kind of a silly thing. But when I was living in California with my grandparents, um, it was like a weekend or something. I had something to do like the next day, so I was really focused on it. Um, but like before I went to sleep, I'm like, like I really need to like clean my bathroom. So I was like on my like chore list. If I didn't do that, I couldn't like go do anything, right? So I was like, I really need to clean my bathroom. And I woke up the next morning and the bathroom was clean. I was like, did I fucking do that? Because like I don't know. And I asked my grandparents like, did you guys clean my bathroom while I was sleeping? They're like, no, you clean your bathroom. Like you do it. I was like,
What?
okay, that's weird. I don't know. Like that's weird.
It got done in your sleep?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah,
That's crazy, dude. That's the best way to clean because you don't actually have to be present for it. You don't even remember doing
right.
it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it only
that's
happened one time, but I can't like
weird.
control it. I can't be like, oh, like I'm just gonna sleep and like have myself go to work for me. You know what I mean? But
That'd be
I
awesome.
wish, right?
But so okay, so realizing that afterwards, you're like, okay, that was fucking weird. But do you remember any kind of separation or anything? Do you remember anything about like a process of you separating from your body at all?
So I remember kind of seeing it like a movie scene of like the camera like panning up to like the ceiling, and like my soul and my spirit was like kind of leaving, like, oh wait, no, where are we going, kind of thing. So I like kind of saw myself laying there, and then from there on, it was like dream status. I did like one thing, and then the whole time elapsed, and I woke up, and I was like, what would happen? You know. So
Weird. That's a
yeah.
weird one, man.
Hmm.
You clean the
Yeah.
fucking bathroom in your sleep.
So
Oh
it's up
my
for
goodness.
debate, but like I can't really explain what happened. So
Wow.
you know,
Huh. That's strange. Have you ever tried on purpose to astral project?
um, I don't believe so. I know I've tried like like lucid dreaming and even going as far as like trying to go to different places like interdimensional, whatever. But I haven't tried to like think about like, oh, I need to do that again, kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, it
Yeah,
hasn't like hasn't happened.
I've tried. I've
Yeah.
tried. I had a bunch of weird things happening where I was I would wake up into a state where I could feel myself trying to separate out,
Hmm.
and I couldn't actually fully separate out. Like there
Yeah.
was the fear from all the creepy shit that was going on that kind of kept me like, oh, but what's out there? I don't know. This is not good. Like there was fear surrounding it, so I think it kept me in. But it's weird because I could feel my arms and my legs like coming out,
Hmm.
like it felt like my arms were floating above,
Yeah.
but my arms were just laid at my side. It's the weirdest thing to try to explain how
Yeah.
that feels. And for a while, I tried to separate, and then I started feeling so much fear. I was like, I don't think it's a good idea for me to do that, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
intrigued by the experience, but I'm not ready for that. And then once I closed the door on all the dark shit, I gave it some more efforts, and it sucks because I can't do it on command. It just happens randomly whenever it wants to,
Yeah.
which is frustrating. Cause I'm like, come on, man! Like I'm right there. Like I got the key to the door. Like all I got to do is like walk up with the key in the door, right? You know, that'd
Mm.
be fine. Hi, Dustin. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, my friend. Yeah. So I wish that I was able to do it on command like that. And you know, I'm willing to bet that if I actually focused more on it and I made a routine about it and I really tried, I bet that I could do it, but I'm just not good at routines or focusing in that
Yeah.
kind of way. So, you know, I guess it's partially my own fault. I just have to
Yeah.
wait for the right moment. But it was a few months ago. It was the first time that I ever actually successfully separated
Oh yeah. Okay.
from my body. I was able to do it, and it was so cool because I'm awake. Like my body is not paralyzed. It's not like sleep paralysis. I can move
Yeah.
if I
Hmm.
want to, but it just detracts from the experience. So I choose to like, okay, uh, there's a really loud noise that happens, like a
Yeah.
super loud fucking noise, and I'm like, okay, I know what's happened. I'm in the zone, and I was told by a friend who could do this, try to sit up or try to roll out of
Mm.
yourself. So I was like, give me some kind of tips on how I can do this. And I'm like, try to sit up.
Yeah.
So previously, before I had actually successfully did this, I woke up one time like sitting up because I was trying so hard to like get my soul body to disconnect that it snapped
Yeah.
me out of it because I was physically up and I was like, damn it, that was not what I was trying to do. But okay, better
Right.
luck next time, you know, like I'm trying. And then the last time that this happened to me, um, I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit up, I'm gonna roll out of it, and I rolled out of my body and floated down to the floor. I'm not good at it yet.
Dang.
I'm not good at it. I
Wow.
wanted to be good at it, but you know, practice makes perfect, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
And it was crazy feeling that feeling of that like full separation. It was kind of like it was like
Yeah.
this weird like pop out. And I gotta tell you, it's really bizarre. And I don't know if other people that have experienced full separation have had the same kind of uh, response to it, but it was
Mhm.
totally unexpected. It was like the most overwhelmingly like most amazing pleasant physical sensation that I've like ever had.
Yeah.
It was
Hmm.
almost like a soul orgasm or something like that, where I popped out and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is the coolest moment of my life!" Like, holy shit! But
Right.
it was interesting because I couldn't see, like, I couldn't
Hmm.
physically see, which I'm kind of glad because I didn't want it to like detract from the experience. Like, I'm kind of glad that like, okay, phase one, get comfortable in this feeling of what it's like, and maybe next time you can see and you can move around better because I literally just fell to the floor and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm on the floor. Like, what do I do?
Can't get up.
Oh, it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, but I felt like if did it once, now I know what it feels like. So I'm hoping that
Mm.
next time I get a surprise out of body situation happen, then I'll be like, okay, man, all right, we're going to do it. and I'm gonna do it right, and hopefully not
Mm.
be face down on the floor and actually be able to see. I was told by somebody to pick an item in your house that's not necessarily like too far, but like some random item that if you pop out, you have a goal. So rather than figuring
Mm.
like where should I go and it's overwhelming or whatever, like there's an object that you are trying to make your way to this
Yeah.
object. So I have this silly little metal octopus that's like on a spring that just like hangs from the ceiling down here,
Yeah.
and it's like
Okay.
so cute and happy, and I was like, okay, so just this metal octopus, that's where I'm going. So if that happens, like my goal is to just go to the octopus. Phase one, just go to the octopus. I hope I'll
Nice.
make it. I honestly have no idea, but it is a very interesting thing to have these astral things just happen to me.
Yeah.
It's like this weird natural knack that like I'm like, I don't know why this is happening, but I guess it's cool. Poor
Yeah.
Dusty. Oh, poor Dusty, man. He all he wants to do is astral travel. And he has
Mm.
tried, he's listened to podcasts, he's like tried different techniques and all this stuff, and he just can't get himself thus far to that vibrational state of
Yeah.
separation. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying so fucking hard, and all you're doing is sleeping. You're waking up like, ah, I'm having this
Yeah.
crazy stuff happen.
Yeah.
Maybe some people just have a natural knack
Yeah. I've heard too that
for something.
you can actually try way too hard and just block yourself out mentally because you're not relaxed. Like you got to be relaxed to like let your
It's true.
soul out, basically. Like I tried again. Like I think it was a couple of weeks ago. So we'd saw like a special on YouTube or something. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, like I go to like different places and hanging out with the Hogwarts cast." I'm like, "What the fuck? Like that sounds cool as fuck. Like I'm doing that."
Yeah, totally.
Like
Yeah,
hell
I
yeah,
really wish that I
kick
could
it.
choose that. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially even with like with astral projection. Like, I want to go. I've never been to France. Let's go to
yeah, right.
France.
Go to
Like if it's
France.
just
Yeah,
like you just think about it, like I'm down. I'm down to just like go to France in my dream. I think that would be fucking phenomenal if
yeah.
I could just like on command control what I was able to see. And even with lucid dreaming, I'm lucid occasionally,
Hmm.
not as much as I would like. So normally I wake up and it's like a movie playing,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like that's all I get. But the times that I am lucid, I'm like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like I'm so excited. Let's do
right.
something fun. And now that the spooky stuff isn't happening as much anymore, it's good because it would always get tainted before. As soon as I would
Yeah.
realize that I was dreaming, it'd be a happy dream. Everything's fine. And then I'd be like,
Mm.
wow, I'm dreaming. That's cool. Let's do something fun. Oh my God. Like, no, like, this is not good right now. Scary stuff would just sneak in. And I don't know if that was stuff sneaking in on its own or if that was once I realized that I am now in the dream world and I already
Hmm.
have this fear of these things that I have experienced in the dream world, if it was just something in me that just kind of came out. But I,
Yeah,
I hope to have nicer experiences so I can do
right.
fun things with like, oh my God, I want to fly with Scully again. Scully, like call her and go for a nice little fly, like I think
Right.
that'd be really cool
I
to
had a
be
weird
able to do
experience last
that
time I
too.
tried to like do they have some steps to take, like you count down from 100, like think about like something simple or a place that you want to be at or whatever. So I tried it like a couple weeks ago, and I got to the point where like my hands were like tingling and like numbing down and stuff, and I felt myself like be completely like weightless, almost like lifting up
Oh,
almost. Like, I felt it. I was still awake, but I like felt myself kind of like pulling, and
cool.
my ears popped. And I was like, that's weird because I'm like laying down on my bed, like why are my ears popping? And then
Oh, that is interesting.
yeah, and then before anything else happened, my cat jumped on my chest, and then I woke up.
Oh,
So I was
fucking
like,
cats, man. Always
yeah.
gotta fuck everything up.
So I don't know if he like saw what was going on and was like, "No, you're not. Like, you're not going nowhere." And then jumped on my chest and like, "Get back in
Uh,
there." Like, I don't know, man, because cats are sensitive to that kind of
huh.
shit too.
It's true, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I just thought like, oh, the cat just like popped up and what a bummer he
Yeah,
like ruined your flow. But you're
yeah.
right, maybe it was some kind of like, no, you're not supposed to be out there. Get back in.
Who's gonna feed me?
Yeah, Yeah, if you're out there, who is going to give me breakfast?
Yeah, who's
Hmm.
gonna feed me if
Okay,
you're gone? What's going on?
so you have tried that. That's very interesting. Do
Hmm.
you do you plan on trying it more often? Do you plan on kind of getting back in there since it was successful?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, if there's a place, for me to do that, then maybe. I mean, I think most of the time I'm too just like worn out and tired to like try to like, okay, I'm gonna think about going to sleep and I'm gonna do it. It's more just like I'm crashing. Okay, here we go.
Passing out. Yep. I totally understand. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have like a bedtime, or I don't like, okay, I'm getting into bed now to go to sleep. I usually don't do that. I normally just pass out. Like I stay
Yeah.
up as late as possible, and then my brain
Yeah.
just kind of passes out. So I end up sleeping on the couch a lot because I'm watching
Same
TV
here.
shows and I'm fighting, trying to keep my
Mm.
eyes open, and then I'm out. But the times that I do go and lay in bed, I usually have documentary going or a podcast or coast to coast or something
Yeah.
going on in the background because I have a really hard time when it's quiet. Like
Mm.
quiet, my brain just goes in some wacky fucking directions when it is too quiet. Oh man. So
Yeah.
I recently found a YouTube that is a 10 hours of a creaky pirate ship in a thunderstorm.
Nice.
And I gotta tell ya, that's pretty nice because it's just like really like this calm thing. There's no like crazy noises that are like
Yeah.
distracting or whatever. So it's like when I have stuff like that going, I can
Hmm.
try to like just kind of hone in a little bit more and focus on this kind of stuff. But still, to
Yeah.
this date, I still have not been able to be successful in it yet, which means I just need to
Yeah.
not stop trying because the dream world is so interesting. If we
Yeah.
learn how to navigate it, it's like a lot of times we feel like we have no control and these things are just happening to us. But
Yeah.
is it really?
I don't know. It's a good
I don't
question.
know either. I
Yeah,
feel
I don't.
like it can be. We can just go
Yeah.
to sleep and just let it be what it is, but at the same time, I think we can kind of take a little more
Yeah.
control.
I think
Oh yeah, Roxy, you should
subconsciously,
totally check it out. The waves, the creaky wood, yep, and the rain and the
yeah.
thunder. It's really nice. And there's a black screen, so you can put it on your phone, or we use Chromecast, so we Chromecast it to our TV, and I don't have to worry about the like light from the screen like going through my eyes, so it stays totally dark, and it's
Hmm.
just these like pirate ship sounds. So I like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Just kind of like, all right, we're getting in the zone, but it's not dead quiet because if it's too quiet, man, I
Yeah.
start inventing shit that I don't need to be inventing right now because I need to go to bed. And then like I have an inner jukebox that like doesn't stop. I have
Really? Oh, okay.
songs. Oh my god, it's like constant. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's so like far background noise that I don't realize exactly what it is. But like if I take a second and focus on it, I'm like, there it is. But sometimes it's
Yeah.
very loud and I wake up with songs in my head constantly. Actually, over the past couple months it's been Crimson Riot songs. I woke up with Tom Urban
Me too.
Legend. Really?
Me too.
Really? I think Dusty said the same thing too. What
Yeah.
is it about that song? I would say many times, probably at least 10 different days, I've woken up with Tom Urban Legend. And I didn't even listen to it like the night before I went to bed or anything,
Yeah.
but something about it, it's just like playing. And I'm like, hey, at least it's a good song that
Yeah. Right.
I'm waking up to. Yeah, Dusty said me too. So the three of us have all
Yeah.
had that specific song
Yeah.
in our heads when we wake up.
Every
And
morning for
Dusty says
weeks.
Crimson Riot every morning for weeks. Oh my
Nice.
god. You know, Rox, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. Okay,
Well, for
Night
me, it's because I
Wicket.
have the albums on a repeat. But it's
But
I have to
sometimes it's
learn
random
them for
shit too that like I've not even heard forever. Like sometimes it's weird shit where I'm like, why the fuck do I have this song in my head? This is not the song that I
Yeah.
want. And sometimes I don't even know the whole song. So I just
Hmm.
have like parts of it. And I'm like, get out of my fucking brain. Like I hate you. But
Yeah.
Nightwick, and by the way, hello, I am so glad that you are here. I am so happy to see you here. And you said, I have the same thing. I have songs in my head all day long. So much so that I can't sleep with having a few drinks to stop the music playing in my brain. Fucking A. That's why
Hmm.
a lot of times I need a documentary or a podcast or some kind of noise, ambient noise at least, is to kind of like drown that out a little bit because sometimes it's like very annoying. where I'm like, just stop. I had raspberry beret in my head for this was the longest earworm that I had. It was many years ago, but it was about a month. It
Mhm.
was about a fucking month of raspberry fucking beret. And I liked the song, but not enough to hear it on repeat in my head for like a fucking month, man.
Mhm.
So I'd be like, okay, new song. We got to have a new song. And I'd be like, okay, we're focusing on this song today. We're singing this song. Like, I'd have to focus on it. And then I'd wake up the next morning and be like, Raspberry Beret. And I'm like, fuck you! Get out of my brain!
Right.
Oh,
God
oh,
damn
Whitney
it.
says sunglasses at night lives rent free in my head.
Nice.
Oh my god, I love that song. That's my song, girl. You probably seen me karaoke that a million times. That might be my fault that that's in your head, Whitney, and I apologize if that is the case because that's one of my karaoke go tos for sure.
Nice.
The annoying part is that I'll just have like 3 lines of a song on repeat over and over. Sometimes that happens too, yeah, where it's just the chorus or something like that, or it's just little
Hmm.
parts. But I think this maybe might go hand in hand with why I am like I have like a weird like steel trap brain for music. And I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but I know so much fucking music, and even if I don't know it really well, if I don't know all the lyrics or whatever, like
Hmm.
pretty much on most things, like I've got the cadence, it's downloaded. So if as a karaoke host and me doing karaoke constantly, I can just read and fill the gaps in. But I
Yeah.
have this like imprint, even if I don't know what the actual words are, I can hear all of it,
Hmm.
like as if it's just happening, like I have headphones on. It's so fucking distinct. So I wonder if it's
Yeah.
hand in hand with me having this constant background music like all of the time. If that maybe is a sign of why things stick so much, I have no idea.
Maybe. Yeah, I do that too. Like being a drummer, I listen to a lot of drum patterns, and a lot of drum patterns are like, either typical or they're not. Like you listen to something like Tool, you don't know what's gonna happen. But like,
Yeah, true.
anything on the radio, like I'm like listening along to a song, I'm like, oh, I feel like it's gonna be this right here, and it's like exactly the same thing. And Jordan's in the car next to me, like, how did you do that? And I'm like, it just is. Like, I don't know.
The drummer instinct.
Yeah. And she's like, wait, how do you know like the exact like pattern and where it's gonna go, and like why did you know what the bridge is gonna be, and or whatever? I'll like hum the next note before it happens, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, Night Wicked, that's really funny. I often wonder how much smarter I would be if I didn't have thousands of song lyrics committed to memory. I wonder about that. Is the space all taken up, man? Oh, because
Yeah.
there's a lot. Like I retain shit for so fucking long, which is like it's astounding to me because honestly, I don't have the greatest long term memory in general. People tell me stories of shit that we did. Even sometimes it was like a month ago and I'm like, what? But especially from like back in the day, like I have lost a lot of memories. I smoked a lot of pot when I was younger, and I really think that that is a big part of why I forgot a lot of this stuff. But I can sing most of the lyrics to We Are the World. Why the fuck do I know the lyrics to We Are the World? I mean, that was big when I was a kid. What did it come out in
Right.
'88 or something like that? I don't know, something like that. And it was a big song at the time, but I hadn't heard it for God up until this past year. I put it on. I don't remember why we put it on as a joke or whatever, but it had probably been at least 25 years since I had heard the
Yeah.
song. I
Yeah.
probably had not listened to it since high school, not even once. And it might have been farther back than that, too. I might have been 12 years old the last time I heard the song. And the song comes on. I'm like, I know the fucking lyrics to this song. I still know We Are the Fucking World. Like, what on earth? Why does that take place in my brain? Why is that still
Yeah.
the fuck in there? When I'd rather remember some of the experience that I've had with people. But instead, I'm remembering We Are the World. It's like so stupid. And it's not just the chorus, man. Like,
Yeah.
if it was just the chorus, oh, I remember the chorus, that's fine. But like when the verses are coming up, I'm like,
Yeah.
I should not remember this, but I fucking do. It's like dumb stuff like that. Commercials. Holy shit, commercials from the fucking 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but this shit's burned in my brain for fucking ever. But it's all based around music. So I feel like I'm like a bottomless pit of
Yeah.
music. And to be honest with you, I wish that I was a better guitar player. I tried to play guitar for a while, and in high school, and then more recently, a bunch of years ago. But I got tendonitis really bad,
Mm,
and it sucks because as a server, I work with my hands, and
yeah.
getting tendonitis really bad was not good for me. So I kind of like backed off on that. But I really wish I was a better guitar player because I feel like I could do shit like Chris and Roxy and Risky Biscuit Band, where they're like, "Oh, you need songs? I have thousands of fucking songs." Because I feel like I could do thousands of
Yeah.
songs, but I'm just not there. So I mean, I can play, like you said, like I can play a few chords, I can play, but I can't
Yeah.
like play good enough to actually really do anything with it.
Oh my god, I totally have the Dragon Tales theme song stuck in my head now. Oh my god. Same. Oh, it's
Oh,
back.
Muppet
Okay.
Babies too. Oh. That
Oh
is
no.
so fucking funny, dude. That is great. Oh, so Night Wicked. I was in New Orleans with my band. The Chattahoochee came on the speakers at the bar, and I just absentmindedly started singing along. My bandmates were like, "How the fuck do you know these words?" Oh, that is pretty fucking funny because it sounds like you're like me in that way where you don't even have to actually be paying attention
Mm,
specifically to it for it to somehow make its way in and to download in. I wish it was like that with so many other things because I would have so much more valuable information if I could just like by osmosis suck a bunch of stuff in. But apparently, it's just music is the thing that just gets
yeah.
sucked in. Which you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, this might make a little bit of sense on why I'm such a fucking music snob to the max because I tune out shit that I fucking hate and I don't want it anywhere near me and it makes me like I get all like oh like actually we were driving on Fremont Street the other day and we passed some fucking club that was playing like the dumbest music ever. It was just horrible. And I'm sitting in the back of the car with Chris and Roxy. Chris is driving, and I'm like, "God damn it! Why do people listen to such shitty fuck music? Like, you don't understand. Like, it gets me all fucking like pissed off, And it shouldn't get me pissed off because everybody likes different shit. Leave it at that. But for some reason, when I have input come in that I do not fucking want and I did not ask for it, it like pisses me off because it's like I
Yeah.
know how easily my brain like sucks up these things and I'm like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Fuck you and your stupid club song that I definitely don't want in my head. Ever.
Roxy, stop.
No, thank you. She's saying Dragon Tail. I don't know Dragon Tales. Should I know Dragon Tales? I want to hear that song in my head right now, but I don't know Dragon
Oh my
Tales. I
god.
know the Muppet Babies. But Gummy Bears, I could see we could go do the Gummy Bears theme song any day.
Any day.
Any fucking day. What do you want? Actually, I wanted to have a band with some friends previously. It never came to fruition. But I wanted us to cover old cartoons, like 80s and 90s cartoon theme songs, television theme songs, like punk them out to do like I don't know,
Wow.
like the Cheers song or whatever, and like do it all punky style, and then just do all the like nostalgic shit from
Yeah.
all of our childhoods, and like have a band that just plays all shit that people are like, no way, I haven't heard that shit forever. Thought it'd be really
Yeah.
fun to just like blow people's minds doing that.
That would be so cool. I would go to every show.
Right, man. I want, even if I don't do it, I want someone else to do it so I can go. And I wanted to call the band Be Kind Rewind.
Oh
That
my
was my
god.
that was my fucking idea was Be
What?
Kind Rewind and have it be all throwback
Oh my
80s
god.
and early 90s commercials too, like some of the ridiculous jingles from shit.
Oh
Just
yeah.
throw in little fucking jingles
That's
like
the coolest
Mr.
thing
Clean,
ever,
Mr.
literally.
Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, like whatever, like stupid shit. I
Oh
thought
my
it was
god.
so fun.
Can I be in this band if it happens?
Yes, please, yes, let's do it.
Yes.
I'm sad that
Awesome.
it never happened. And as far as I know, to my knowledge, I don't think anybody's done that. I mean, there's like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes where they punk like a variety of different shit or
Yeah,
whatever. But like as far as like specifically doing this like as the shtick,
yeah,
I don't know of anybody that's done it. So if you guys want to make a band, oh,
man.
there's already a band called that. They do 90s rock stuff. A good friend of yours. Well,
Oh,
that sucks, Roxy. Tell them to stop. No, they beat me to it. They fucking beat me to it, man. I hesitated. This was about maybe like 4 or 5 years ago that
yeah,
I came up with that name, and I missed my mark.
yeah. Knight, you are totally correct. Suburban Legends did do that. That was the best.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Scott 90s Disney songs?
Mm.
That sounds awesome. Suburban Legends. I am going to check that out because that sounds so fucking fun.
Fun fact.
Oh, man. Yes.
So the late drummer of Avenged Sevenfold, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, was the drummer of Suburban Legends back in the day.
Ah,
Yeah,
interesting. I've never even heard of Suburban Legends, but
that's
I'm
that's how I
going
heard
to.
about him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is super duper cool. Yeah, to
Hell
do
yeah.
the Disney songs, that's ingenious.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. I'm not sure how far back it was. Night. I think it was like the. I mean, before Avenged Sevenfold times, obviously. So maybe like the I don't know, late '90s. I want to say he's not that much older than anybody else here. I don't think, but yeah, probably like
Hmm.
maybe mid to late '90s. I want to say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Yeah, I love it. I love when people do something really like unique and different like that. Me
Yeah.
First and the Gimme Gimmes. I love it, and it's kind of funny. So Justin from Risky Biscuit,
No.
many 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 years ago. No, no, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
I thought that I invented the band. I was like, Justin, we need to have a band, and it's gonna be like punk covers of songs that are
Mhm.
not punk. It's gonna be all this crazy shit, and we're gonna punk it all out. That's gonna be our fucking thing. It's gonna be awesome. And he's like,
Right.
yeah, like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And I was like, what the fuck? What does that mean? I don't even know what words you're saying right now. And he's like, dude, it's a band. I was like,
Right. Right.
fuck, son of a bitch. Like that was totally my idea. Like I wanted to do like ridiculous songs and just like punk them out and just have that be the whole
Mm.
fucking thing. But there is no female fronted version of that. So I was in a band for a bit of time until my drummer friend moved away, which really
Damn
sucks
drummers.
because we were fucking killing it, man. We actually had 3 gigs booked. And then he was
Yeah.
like, I gotta go. And I'm
Damn.
like, what the fuck? Can you at least stay for us to play these gigs that we have booked right now? And he's
Drummers
like,
are like that, dude.
yeah, kind of like gotta go. And he's like a dear friend of mine too. And I was like, dude,
Oh.
like just stay for the fucking gigs, man.
Stay
At least
for-
we won't take new gigs, but like at least let us do the thing. And we had a great set list, man. We had a lot of really fun stuff that we punked out and made it really really fun. So at least I got to do it at some
Yeah.
point. It didn't come to full fruition like I would have hoped that it would have, because if he was still here, this shit would be fucking going off, man. It'd be like
Right.
super
Yeah.
fun because people would love that shit around here. It'd be so fun, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
So can we
Maybe
talk about
another
something
day.
real quick? I'm
Please.
gonna I'm gonna change the direction real quick. Isn't it super fucked up and frustrating when you're like, I have this great idea, and then like it's already a thing, and you're like, what the hell? Why have I never heard of this? Like,
Yes, it's the
I hate that so
worst.
much. Yeah. So I had an idea for like, cause I like to do a little bit of writing. I like write like little novel things. I've started a book like a couple of years ago that I haven't finished yet.
That is
But
really cool.
I had an idea. I'm like, okay, so hear me out. I'm like talking to Jordan like a crazy person. I like got my wall. I'm like, okay, so imagine in your brain, right? Imagine you like use time as like your lifespan. She's like, oh yeah, like that Justin Timberlake movie. I'm like, fuck. I was so mad. God damn it.
Like the Justin Timberlake movie.
Yeah, yeah. So
Your story was totally that.
yeah,
Oh, oh,
yeah. The same exact
oh,
premise. I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I was
oh
so mad.
man.
And then she showed me the
That
movie. I'm like, yeah, that was it.
Well, hey, that made that a lot easier for me. That it's
Yeah,
already
right.
done. Shit. Yeah, I've had that happen
I
a
hate
bunch where I'm
that.
like, I have the best fucking idea ever.
Yeah,
And then I'll look it up and I'm like, well, fuck that because it already exists and somebody beat me to it. God damn it.
right.
Yeah, and then, I have a couple good ideas that I didn't pull the trigger on that nobody else did. And I was like, should have fucking,
That
should
was
have
my
pulled the
moment.
trigger on it.
Yeah,
Dude, quarantine cribs. I was talking to Roxy about it. I had a fantastic idea. Quarantine cribs during COVID lockdown, having people show you around their house. Hey, welcome to my house. It's quarantine cribs, and just showing how people actually live during COVID. I
oh
thought it
nice,
would be
yeah.
awesome. Then you get to see everybody's houses, and if they have any cool collections, they could share it or whatever. Or if you just have a mountain of pizza boxes, that's fine too. But I thought it would be awesome to get a little window into people's homes, and I thought it would catch on where, okay, you can do yours too, so everybody can participate in it and make it like
Yeah,
a whole thing. And I totally failed because I didn't have the camera at the time and I didn't really know about how to do the setup and what kind of platform to do it on. Like, I
yeah.
didn't know. I just had this idea and I needed an adult, and there's no adult to help me with it. And then all of a sudden, quarantine
Oh
was
my
over, and I
god.
was like, shit.
Yeah,
Because that would have been so fun. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, people
People.
put embarrassing shit away. If you have anything like got a
Right.
dildo hanging out, maybe you want to put that away for the thing. But like, don't clean your whole house. It's not about making it look all sparkly and clean. It's like,
Right.
how are people actually living right now?
Mhm. People are kind of starting to do something similar to that. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but like people are taking like interviewers and like interviewees and stuff like that, and like rating their like whole setup and like talking about it or like trashing it and stuff like that. I forgot what it's
I haven't
called.
heard that. No.
I think Roxy knows more about it, but yeah. So people start doing like news interviews and stuff. They're like, oh, that person's like setup is like shit. Like, why do they have this over there? Like, they know nothing about interior design. Like, it's like
Interesting.
funny
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Roxy should chime in here in a
Similar, but
minute.
man, man. Yeah, and then inventing things that already exist. That is always the saddest thing where you're like, this is the best idea. Oh, it already is out there, which makes me wonder, is it just that we happen to have the same idea, or is it that it's like out there in the consciousness ether, and
Mhm.
somehow we're zoning in and kind of like snatching up an idea that already exists, and we don't know the difference between whether it's our own idea or whether we're receiving this idea from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, Room Raider. That's the one.
room
Yeah.
raider. You have a mug. Oh man. But yeah, it's interesting, this world where like so many people have so many ideas, and especially like with technological advances and stuff too. It's interesting. It's notable that a lot of people will invent or discover the same things at the same times, almost as if once the answer is out there, it's available for others to have as well. Or once we like create a thought or a vision on something, that somehow it kind of is like a thought form. It takes some kind of form
Hmm.
for us to be able to maybe tap into. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I wonder if like you have a thought and it goes into like this space and someone's like, oh yeah, that is a good idea. I should do that. Or like
Maybe so.
you're like, oh, I don't have time or I don't have the mental capacity to do that right now. Maybe I'll think about it, and then someone else is like, hey, I have the time and the ability to do that, so I'm going to do that
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
think it
That's
might actually kind of work like that, where it's like a thought database. But sometimes
yeah,
I get ideas that I think are my own that aren't actually my own. So there's some kind of connection to that where I'm almost getting like fed little things.
yeah,
It's frustrating though because you're like, I came up with this freaking idea, and I was like, well, so did somebody else. So who wins? But if
right,
there is a thought database, I wonder if it does kind of work like that, where when we really put energy into something and think about something, if that causes it to exist, like not
right.
just within our own self, and
Hmm.
then is it really ours anymore at that point, like, or is it just kind of going into the great
Yeah,
beyond?
Right, right. It's
I
like
don't know, but I think it might
yeah,
make sense too with like the way that we, like they're like, okay, what you say determines your reality. So like if you're having a bad day and you're grumbly about everything, and or if you're like I can't do that and this and that or whatever, and if you're putting bad vibes out there, like I feel like you kind of get what you give with that kind of stuff. So you putting out negative thoughts, I think
mm,
attracts negative thoughts and negative actions
yeah,
back to you. And I'm a really positive person, so I put a lot of positivity out there, and I can very humbly say that I feel like it's returned to me a lot. Like I have a lot of really good things that come back because my thoughts, I try to think in positive ways as much as I can. I'm not a fucking robot, you know. Sometimes I'm
right,
in the
right.
backseat of the car and I'm like, this music fucking sucks, you know. Like it's not a perfect science. I try, but what
Right.
I put out there to the world, I try to put out good shit. So I think that yeah, maybe just our thoughts in general have a little bit more substance than we would give them credit for, potentially.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Something to think about for sure. Yeah.
I know, right? Gone down a lot of these rabbit holes trying to figure out how does this shit work. For
Yeah.
example, like you coming up with the same exact concept for something that already exists. Like
Yeah.
how does that just
Right.
happen? Unless it was like a pretty like standard story. Oh man, you know, woman fall in love, woman
Yeah.
dies and what or whatever, you know. But if it was like
Yeah.
something unique in any way, then like I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe you just got lucky on that one, but maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe so. Yeah. Yeah. So then after that experience, I like started writing a new like novel book thing. I was like, I'm gonna go way out of the box. Like no one's got this.
Good. That's
But
awesome. Do
we'll
you have
see.
anything published?
I don't know. I'm like kind of brand new to it. I just like I was like, oh, I have a interesting idea about how I think life works, so I'm gonna write a book about like this metaphorical like thing and see where it goes. But I got kind of stuck, and I just got stuck doing other things and doing work and music stuff. So I was just kind of like, okay, I'll kind of put that on the back burner for now. But yeah,
That's really cool. So it's a
yeah,
fiction story that's illustrating your just views on life in general.
yeah, hmm
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So in 2050 it'll be done. So you guys can expect it then. Uh,
um I mean if you want to you can share if you want to, but like if you want to nail it down a little bit, like what synopsis can you give me that is like the message that you're trying to portray?
I guess the message of it is kind of like I guess like your life is kind of planned out and pre-exists based on where you come into the world, kind of thing. So kind of like a caste system, kind of like Indian rooted sort of
Interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're born into a rich family, like chances are you're gonna be pretty well off. Or you're born
Sure,
in like
sure.
born in the slums, you have a hard time trying to get around and trying to just like live. So it's kind of metaphor based on
That's
that.
interesting. I like that. That's cool.
Mm. Yeah,
And that is pretty true in most cases, you know?
yeah,
We don't get to choose what we come into, but we get to choose how we deal with it and how we handle it and what we want to do, you know, down the road.
yeah,
But that conditioning is still there, and
yeah.
all of that, like programming,
Mm.
whatever it may be, it's still there. So some people can fight against it and some people can't. They just have to go with the flow of that one.
Yeah. But of course, for like story reasons, I'm having like the main character person kind of like go through the trenches and kind of like rise up eventually into pushing through the system, or whatever. So, you know,
Ooh, that's
yeah,
cool. That's going to be good.
yeah, yeah.
So you're such a busy guy. How do you make time to write?
I haven't touched it in like probably a couple years. So
Oh, shit. Really?
yeah, every once in a while I'm like I should get back onto that book because I'm like, oh, I know the next part of it or whatever, but I just I don't get around to it because it's I'm like, I don't have the time to like be creative right now.
You know,
So
that sucks when there's too much going on and there's not enough time for the things that we really genuinely want to do.
mhm.
We have all lived through that. And you know what? With COVID for a lot of people, not for everybody, of course, but
Yeah.
it gave people the time to just chill the fuck out and like reevaluate
Yeah.
things and
Yeah.
have more time to do shit. So, what did you do with your COVID time?
I was working 60 hours a week.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I was working from
Really?
home. I was working from home like nonstop. Just like
What do you do for a job?
I'm a property manager.
Oh, okay, so you're still doing
Yeah.
that same job. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still
Okay.
doing that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Really? You had to work 60 hours?
Yeah. I was working a lot. Like I was
I hope
working
you
a
get
lot.
overtime, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
I was,
Okay.
I was keeping everything afloat, so to speak. Yeah.
Man, that is pretty rough. I am sorry that you didn't actually get the time to like reinvest back into yourself.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
I mean, I'm grateful because I had a job that was accommodating. I could work from home, work remote, but at the same time, I do kind of long for that. Like, oh man, it would have been nice to have like 6 months of time to like figure out like where my head is at. Kind of flourish my creativity a little bit and kind of water it. I haven't done that in a long
Yeah.
time, and yeah, that's been a
You
big
didn't get a
consideration.
fucking break at all. You never got the break.
Nope.
Damn. I am
Nope.
so sorry that you didn't get that. But did you
Yeah.
gain a little bit of extra personal time because you weren't going out and hanging out with your friends and playing shows and doing all that the normal stuff that you already do on top of your job?
Yeah, I definitely did my best to try to like explore like new things too. Like I'd never been like a like comic book guy or like superhero guy or whatever, but I watched the entire Avengers list of movies with Jordan because she was like,
Okay.
"Oh, let's watch them." I was like, "Okay,
Okay,
cool." So
that's
I,
cool.
I would work from like from 9 in the morning to like 7, and then we'd watch a movie or two that night, and then I'd go to bed and kind of repeat the same thing. We just watched all like however many movies there are, like 15 movies or whatever. So yeah,
Wow, that's a lot of movies. They have that
yeah.
many? Holy shit.
There's something like that. It's like they have like the uh, like Hulk, Spider Man, Thor, like all of those. Like everything is all connected, and like Guardians of the Galaxy, and like there's like 15 or 20 movies or something like that. So
What did you think? Since you weren't into it before, what do you think after seeing the whole thing?
yeah,
Yeah. But you did it. You did it and it's
yeah,
something
yeah.
new now you know.
It was
Yeah,
kind of like
I'm not into it
yeah,
either.
it was kind of like copy paste for me. It was like okay, I see where the story's going. It's like the thing happens, and then like we rise up to do the thing, and it's like okay, we did the thing. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we
A
get yeah.
friend of mine, maybe about right before COVID struck, he convinced me to watch one, the Avengers. I don't know which one it was. I have
Mhm.
not watched any of the superhero movies at all.
Yeah.
So he's like, "It's so fucking good. You just gotta watch one." And I'm like, "I really don't care. Like, I really don't care." And he's like, "But dude, like, it's like just give it a try. Just watch one." And I was like, "All right, okay. You know what? This is a huge thing right now in the world. I will totally check out one and I'll see what I think about it. I don't want to
Mhm.
just be a curmudgeon and just be like, no, fuck it forever, and like have never even given it a try. So we watched one of them, and it was honestly better than I expected it to be. I thought it was gonna be super cheesy
Yeah.
because just in general, just like superheroes in general, like it's so unbelievable to me that I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so unrealistic. Like I'm just kind of like that. Like, I like more realistic stuff. I like
Yeah.
period pieces and really like in-depth stuff where I feel like I am like living in this world where like I
Yeah.
almost forget about the outside world because this is such a magical world that someone created.
Mhm.
And when you start throwing ridiculous shit out there, I'm like, okay, I know I'm watching a movie and I know it's actors right now, and I just feel like,
Yeah.
but it was better than I thought that it would
Yeah.
be. It was less cheesy, so I was like, okay, I get the appeal. I don't think I'm gonna go back and watch every fucking movie, but like, okay, like, I
Yeah.
I see I see why people are into it. It's cool. It's
Hmm.
not the cheesiest thing of all time, so I was like, okay, fine. I just
Yeah.
never even got into like Batman or any of that stuff back in the day. Spider
Right.
Man,
Right.
I'm like any
Yeah.
of them, I'm just kind of like, it doesn't really
Yeah.
hold my attention.
Yeah. I like Batman the most because he's like, I'm just a badass dude in a suit who's rich and I can do whatever I want because I have money.
Totally. I will
He
give
didn't.
him credit for that too, because he's not
He didn't have any
shooting
powers, you
webs
know.
out of his hands and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, he's shooting webs out of his hands. It's so stupid, like.
Right. Yeah. He was just a guy in a cool,
That's how I
like,
was like,
badass bat suit. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
See, I can respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Roxy said with Outlander, like living in the Scottish Highlands.
Oh,
My
oh my
mom
God.
she loves that show. And
Yes.
actually, she
Yes.
loves the books. She'd been telling me about the books since the 90s. That's like her
Mm.
favorite series of books ever. So when the show came out, she was like, "Oh my god, you have to check it out." And I actually started watching it when we were on a vacation in Europe. We were in Greece, and I was
Okay.
about to go do a solo Scotland thing. Like I was with Dusty and Tavia and her dude at the time, and I was gonna part ways and go to Scotland and do a solo journey. So I was like, you know what? What a good time, here in Greece, like at the Airbnb or whatever at night. I'm gonna start watching Highlander, and it was really cool. The first season, I thought the first season was really cool, and it was neat going to Scotland right after because like the
Yeah.
stones that they touch or whatever. Like I
Hmm.
got to go to an ancient standing stone circle that was like from the fucking Bronze Age. It was like forever.
Yeah.
And I made sure to like take photos of me touching it for my mom and being like,
Really?
"Hey, I'm touching the
Yeah.
stone. I get it. I get the thing now.
See
I get
that?
the joke or whatever." It was cool, but it got I don't know. The second season, I was kind of like, well, "What are they doing? They're in France, and it's weird, and you're losing me a little bit."
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "Go back to Scotland already. Stop being in France. Bunch of
Right.
bougie assholes or whatever." So I kind of dropped off, but.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what kind of movies, like what are your favorite movies? What is like some of your favorite shit that you love?
Yeah, so I like the exact opposite of you. Like, I need to be outside of
Really?
the real realm. I need to be, like, so fantasy land, it's not even funny. Like, I love, like,
Really? Okay.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and all that, like, mystical, like, nerdy shit. I love all that.
Like Harry
Yeah.
Potter and stuff too?
Yeah, yeah. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings
Me
is, like,
too.
my favorite, all-time favorite, Lord of the Rings.
I
So,
love Lord of the Rings too, even though
yeah.
obviously there's creatures that don't exist. Like they
Yeah.
make it seem so believable and real that I'm
Hmm.
in it. I'm in that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you like the
Yeah.
fantasy.
Those are like my favorite like kind of books or like even video games. I love like all the like fantasy stuff. So yeah.
That's cool. But
Hmm.
do you enjoy the period pieces and the serious stuff too, or is it's just not your bag?
So it depends. I guess I kind of hit like a documentary stage in my life. I'm getting close to 30, so I feel like that's when you start doing that.
Yep.
But
Agreed. Agreed.
Jordan and I during the quarantine we started watching the like the murder documentaries, and I was like, oh fuck, this is my
Oh my
jam now. Like,
Us too. We went down a true
yeah,
crime fucking
yeah,
rabbit hole like a motherfucker. I'm still
yep.
riding the coattails of that true crime.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
hooked now. Yep.
yeah. I was like, oh, what happened to them? Like, oh, what? Who did it? Oh my God, who did it? Kind of thing. Like, I love
Yeah, dude.
that. Like,
Forensic Files, man. Like now I'm like, oh, look at how many seasons of Forensic Files there is. This is awesome. Like it's
right,
so
right.
funny. My friend Crystal, who was in the chat, I don't think she is here anymore, but she she watches things on repeat over and over again, and she has seen Forensic Files all the way through so many times that I thought she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching Forensic Files." Like, what episode? And I'm like, "I don't know, some chick's dead in a lake," and she's like, "Oh my god, I totally remember that one," and knows all their names and shit. And I'm like, Crystal, I'm like worried that you know too much about this stuff. It's almost too fucking much, dude.
Right, right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely not like a scaredy cat person. I'm pretty optimistic and I'm street smart, but I'm not paranoid. But after
Yeah.
watching some of these things, I'm like, yo, like maybe I should be a little bit more paranoid, like because this is some
Yeah.
fucked up shit. Oh yeah,
That's
there's Crystal right now, Gypsy, every single episode.
every single
Yeah,
episode.
dude,
Nice.
that's like your fucking jam and a half. It's so funny. Like anyone that I brought up, you were like, I literally know the entire story. I can tell you
Right.
everything. It's great.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, Music Mixer said Fear Street on Netflix. Did you happen to check that out?
I have
It's the
not. I
new
haven't seen
one.
that one before. No.
Oh, it's good. It's new on Netflix. It's a three-part uh, movie. So
Okay.
one of them is like in the '90s, and it's like it's. So do you remember the books? You might not because you're younger, but so like Goosebumps books, it was like
Oh
pre
yeah.
Goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
So R.L. Stein did Goosebumps, but before Goosebumps was Fear Street, which was
Oh
like
okay.
for like older kids kind of. Goosebumps was a little bit more toned down for like younger
Yeah, for
audiences.
kids. Yeah.
But Fear Street got like, I mean, it was still for like teenagers, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
super gory, but it was a little bit scarier and stuff. But they made this Fear Street series, so all the old people rejoice. We're like, hell yeah, fucking Fear Street. But it's cool. It's a three-part thing. So the '90s, it shows the story of the '90s, and they're talking about this witch that's been summoned, and they're like,
Nice.
oh yeah, this similar thing happened in the '70s. So the second movie takes place at a summer camp in the '70s,
Oh,
showing
okay.
that whole experience, and then the third one is 1666,
Oh
the
damn.
story of the witch.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it was good. I really liked it. It
I'll have
was
to check
it
that
was
one out for
good.
sure. My sister and I love watching the like crazy shit like that.
Dude, I really liked it. I thought it was great. And they totally had that very reminiscent feeling of like the like old '70s like slasher kind of thing, and even in the
Yeah, yeah.
'90s, like it was cool. The soundtrack was fan fucking tastic on the '90s one. Like as soon as it started, I was like, oh, this is my jam. I'm into it. Like they had like good '90s music in there. So I
Nice.
like the spooky stuff too. Do you like spooky horror kind of stuff too?
It's like the only thing I'll watch pretty much. I love
Oh, really?
horror and spooky
Cool.
and demented. Like the worse, like the better for me. Like I just love all crazy shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, probably
Oh
doesn't help
man,
the
maybe
nightmares and shit, right?
probably not, but whatever.
Uh,
Maybe it desensitizes us to that kind of shit and makes it not as scary.
maybe, yeah. But I love all those like The Conjuring and all that crazy like uh, poltergeist stuff, paranormal activity. Like I love all
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes, your sister has not seen Poltergeist.
What? Oh,
I
in
love how you
Midsummer. Oh
looked
my
at the
god.
chat.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm like,
oh, looking at the chat.
wait, what?
I know. No, and actually, a couple people had not seen it either in our chat. We had talked about this previously. I think it was Whitney, Whittistick, and Roxy, and I think there was somebody else that was in the chat too that hadn't seen it. And I was like, well, we're gonna do a movie night, so I want to
Yeah.
do like a teleparty thing so that we can all watch Poltergeist.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down.
I love it. Okay, good. I'll make
Yeah.
sure to let you in on that one. You know what? Since we've talked about it a few times, I want to arrange that for next week. So let's figure out.
Nice.
So, can I do it next week? God damn it! I have so many things going on. I'm gonna. I will get back to everybody directly, but I want to do it soon because I think that would
Yes.
be really fun. Have you ever done the teleparty thing?
Mm.
Oh man. So it became a thing during quarantine, which I thought was awesome. So
Mm.
you have somebody who sets it up, like the boss or whatever. So if it's me, I'm like, okay, I'm setting up teleparty. I'm gonna find Poltergeist on Hulu or whatever streaming site that
Yeah.
it is, and then you invite people to join in, and everybody just has to have the little app or whatever, and
Yeah.
then you're in, and then the leader hits play, and it plays simultaneously on everyone's shit, and it's just like the Twitch chat
What?
where everybody's in the Twitch style chat in real
What?
time talking shit about the movies and everything. It's awesome.
Oh my! I didn't know that was a thing like I would do that every day. Literally, that's so cool.
It is awesome. It started off, it was just called Netflix Party at first. So it
Oh,
was
okay.
just Netflix that was doing it, but I want to say maybe some other big corporation maybe bought them because they're like, this is too good of an idea and we need to have
Yeah.
all the streaming sites. So now it's Teleparty, and it's just like a Chrome browser extension. You just have to
Okay.
like download the extension,
Hmm.
and it gets a little confusing. Like every time we've done it, somebody's having an issue with it.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things. There's a lot of troubleshooting that goes into making sure that everybody is in and
Yeah.
everyone's ready to go. And okay, are you actually in the chat? So it takes about a half hour of setup to make sure everybody's in, and then bam, you go and you just hit play, and everybody's talking mad shit.
Nice.
So it's kind of like mystery science theater chat style.
Yes. Toy boat, toy boat.
But it's cool because no one's talking over your fucking movie.
Yeah, it's true too. Yeah.
Because that happens sometimes when people are like talking too much, and you're like, you just fucking missed the fucking part.
Yeah,
God,
you missed
shut
what
the
you were
fuck
asking about. You literally.
up. Yeah. You're just asking questions. They just answered it. But in the chat,
Yeah.
it's all silent. You're like silently chatting. So
Right.
yeah, we'll hook that up and do it soon. It'll be fun. Night Wiccans in too. That's awesome. Yeah, you
Oh
like that
yeah.
Fear Street too, man. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, I think that'll be fun. So we'll make sure to get together and do a movie night together.
Heck yeah.
Wait, they're making a sequel to Poltergeist? Oh, really? Well, that sounds interesting. I would be very curious to
Mm-hmm.
hear about that. Most of the kids are dead. The son is the only one who's still alive out of all the
Yeah.
children of that one. So maybe it's the son and how he
Mate.
grew up and whatever. I don't know.
Okay. Real quick, hold the fuck up. Music mixer. Who uses Microsoft Edge, dude? Come on.
No,
Who
it
who
is a
who
Chrome
is using
extension,
that?
but I guess they also have old school Microsoft.
It's still loading as we speak. Like, what? Who uses that? No one's using that. He says, "I do."
Hey, if it works for you, man, then that's good. To each their own. I guess it's better than Internet Explorer. You
I'm so.
remember that shit?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so bad. So bad.
It was bad. It was really bad. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Chrome seems like it's the best.
I remember using
But yeah, well,
Firefox. I was like so like, I was like, yeah, Firefox is the shit. Like, it's gonna make it.
it took
Yeah.
over for Internet Explorer that sucked all the balls, and then we're
It
like,
did.
Firefox,
Firefox.
sweet,
Dope. Yeah. And the Chrome was
Good
like, guess what?
times.
Oh, here's that.
I know. Here, bam.
Right.
Like, okay, you win. You win. Chrome
Right.
definitely wins for sure. Especially
For
because
sure.
it's PC and Mac, so it bridges all
Right.
of the gaps, which I think is fan fucking tastic.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Microsoft has an update every 5 minutes, so maybe Edge is better now. They keep updating, so it's got to be the best, right?
I don't know about that.
Oh my
I
god,
don't
that's so
know.
funny.
Edge is
It's
way better. Oh my god, stop.
that's the thing about this world. Everybody gets to choose what they love, even if it's
Yes.
ridiculous. You're still allowed. Chrome or death.
Yeah. Even if it's
Oh,
ridiculous, like Edge, yeah, it's totally fine. Do it.
yeah. You're still allowed to love it. It's fine. It's totally fine.
More internet for me. I get to use all my RAM. I don't give a fuck.
Yep. There you go.
Right.
Oh man. Well, this has been a really super fun episode. I'm so glad we got to talk about all of these stories. Do you have any
Hell.
other stories hiding in your back pocket that you want to share before we go?
Hmm. I don't know about spooky, but I do have a weird thing about like, glitch in the matrix type stuff. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Like,
yeah. Cool.
if you feel like you're living in a simulation, this like kind of seals the deal.
Ooh, tell me.
So I had a friend back in the day when I was like 13, right? And I mean, it wasn't like a best friend or anything, just like a friend that an acquaintance who lived on the street or whatever. So 3 days ago, like I haven't talked to him for like years, like literally since I met him, and now like I haven't talked to him in a long time. Um, so I saw somebody at like Walmart or something the other day, and I was like, looking back, I was like questioning. I'm like, is that because it could be like same exact mannerisms, same like face structure, same exact name, not the guy.
What?
Yep, I was fucked up beyond belief. I'm like, you are
First
joking me
and
right
last name or just first name?
now. So just first name, but it was
Okay.
too perfect. I was like, this is so weird.
What?
Like why though?
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, because I was gonna ask him like, hey, do you remember like this weird fucking kid from back in your childhood? Like, I was like, but I didn't ask him to
Weird.
like, I didn't ask him to verify, but I know for sure that it wasn't him. But it was so close. It was like, oh, I don't know, man.
That is
Like,
strange.
yeah,
I've seen the
like,
like doppelganger posts and stuff like that where I just saw actually just yesterday I was going through some random BuzzFeed thing or whatever, and this guy said that he found his doppelganger in a market in Turkey,
oh yeah,
and the photos of them, he's like, we couldn't communicate because we didn't speak the same language, but we got it, and everyone around was like, whoa, it's crazy, and they got photos together, and they look like they could be like brothers for sure at
right,
the very
right,
least. Like, so that kind of shit's weird that like there's only so many DNA combinations,
yeah.
and
I
I guess
mean,
people get like replicated or something.
yeah,
It's weird.
yeah. And like, I understand like doppelgangers, but like the same name was the weird part. I was like, this is too. It's too many things that just like line up.
The
Is
name
really weird.
especially, that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Roxy, I don't know if you remember Isaac from. I think it was when we were living in Rolling Stone. He was that house. Um, he was the other the other white kid in the neighborhood. To put it
Oh
plainly.
yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, and on that same article that I was reading, I think it was like a glitch in the matrix article, which is funny
Yeah.
that this is coming up in conversation, but there was a lady that was about to go into, it was like Dairy Queen or something like that, and
Mm.
she had the most hideous combination of clothes on. She had this like floral print pants and then a floral print shirt that completely did not match in any way. Like it looked like you just like grabbed the first thing and put it on type of thing.
Yeah.
And she was about to walk in, and the chick up at the counter who was ordering was wearing the same exact outfit, the same exact combination of
Wow.
things. And she was just like, I feel awkward going in right now because, you know, it's just too fucking weird. But like the fact
Yeah.
that like, anything's possible. Anything is possible. And, with that comes all this random shit like that where people have the same exact things going on sometimes without even meaning to. So we all think we're so unique and so individual,
Yeah.
but are we really?
I mean, I've never seen someone else with rainbow dreads. I'm gonna be honest.
Thank you. I haven't either. And as far as just
Nice.
like my face, like I've never ran across anybody that I felt like looked like me.
Mm.
I've never looked into someone's face and was like, that's my fucking face. That's so
Yeah.
weird. I wonder what that
Yeah.
would feel like.
Yeah. I get that all the time. People are like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "I don't think so." They're like, "No, I swear you like we went to school together or something." I'm like, "I doubt it, but which school?" And they're like, "Oh, this fucking school." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I was never there." But
You just
like, I
have
get
one of
that.
those faces.
I guess so. Yeah, I get that so often that it becomes like a weird thing that I'm like, "Why do I look like everybody?" Like, what's going on?
Oh man,
But like I don't though, because I'm like,
that's weird.
everyone has their unique characters. But I guess I just have like I don't know if it's like the eyes, because like I was like wearing a mask and everything. I'm like, okay, so maybe they just like saw like forehead and eyes was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna
Sure.
just make their face shape that the other guy looked like or whatever. You know,
True. That's true.
could have been
Yeah,
something
because
like
if you're
that.
only looking at this, it's hard to tell. Like somebody might have a similar eye shape or similar haircut or something like that.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So I
So
don't know. It's weird.
yeah,
Weird. This is a weird reality that we live in, and I don't freaking know. Simulation, maybe.
right.
Chaos, maybe. Who the fuck
Yeah,
knows? But it's weird. Some of the quinkydinks that happen on like a
yeah.
constant basis.
After
So I
quarantine,
guess
where'd
we'll
all
just
the
have to
birds
live.
go?
Dropping out of the fucking sky dead.
Right. Yeah.
There's been
Seriously.
like so many like mass bird deaths and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
Did you hear about the
fuck?
locust thing
Oh, the cicadas? Do you mean?
or whatever they are? Yeah. The yeah those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in
Yes.
Vegas, there was a huge like influx of them for like a couple days, and it was like on the news.
Oh,
And
oh, wait, yes. So it wasn't cicadas for you guys. Cicadas was the East Coast where they had like the big giant birds, the 17-year cicadas, like took over the whole fucking East
yeah,
Coast. But yes, the locust thing that you guys
locust. Yeah,
had, grasshoppers,
yeah,
locusts, right? What the
or
fuck?
whatever. Yeah, there were like millions of them, like everywhere for like a couple days, and then they just fucked off. And we're like, oh, plague? What? Okay.
That sounds very plaguish. And it had
Yeah,
never
it does.
happened before. It's not like a thing that
No,
happens.
No, the first time ever, and probably last time ever. I've never seen that many
What?
before. I've seen like one in my whole life, and then there were millions. Like, what the fuck? It is also known as plague. Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa. Oh, Roxy has a doppelganger in the UK. Really? I want to see your
What?
doppelganger.
Put the link. Put the link in the thing.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who looks like you. Because I feel like
Yeah,
you have a very distinct face, Roxy.
I feel like that too. Yeah,
I feel like you do too. I was surprised to hear that everybody thinks you look like everybody. I feel like you look very unique.
that's what I thought too. Yeah,
Nope.
I try to anyway.
Oh man. Well, this was super super fun. I'm so glad that you got to come on with me and share all your fun stories, and
Hell
it
yeah.
sounds like you are a very connected individual, and I think that that's really cool. I think
Hell
you should
yeah.
keep rolling with it, man, and see what the world has to tell you, because it seems like there's a lot of
Yeah.
stories.
Someone's trying to tell me something. I just don't know what it is.
I don't know. Well, it's up to you whether you want to know or not, I guess, really.
I guess. I mean, I
Because
guess I need to know now.
if you really want to know, then next time you're in a position where you feel something like that,
Yeah.
open up for a second, and just be like,
Mm,
okay, what is going on? Try to,
yeah.
I don't know, like look deeper into what the feeling is and see if you can kind of pinpoint it or whatever. If you want to, like I
Yeah.
could understand just not wanting to deal with it and you just keep on rolling. But if you're interested, you already have such a natural knack for it. Like maybe you could
Yeah.
learn a lot.
Yeah. I'd be excited to go to somewhere with like a history and like see kind of what that feels like because I've never gone out and like sought it before. It's just kind of random, like in Vegas. But like going to like
Yeah.
Goldfield or like a ghost town that's like specific, I don't know if I'd be like overwhelmed or like, oh shit, this is cool.
I think that we should do it. The next time I come out, which we wanted to do it at a time where it's not so freaking hot and that we have more time to hang out or whatever, but that's on the agenda next time I come out, as we were going to make a journey out there. So I think you should come and
I'm
we can turn
down.
our little feelers on and see what we get. And if Dusty's there, don't even need to worry, because he is like such a space holder, man. He is so fucking zen. He is like fantastic at like keeping things like safe. Honestly, it's probably saved my life,
Yeah.
and I might mean that literally. Like
Oh
he
man.
might have, because he's really good at like clearing clearing shit out and holding a really good like safe space bubble. And me,
Yeah.
like, I do my best, but at the same time, I'm like, bink, 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 bink. People they see shit from a mile away and they're like, ooh, but Dusty's like, hold on. So he'll
Yeah.
keep us he'll keep us safe. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really good at it. So
I
yeah,
clear
I
space
would be
so
curious
fast.
to see. He does. He's really good at it, man. It's awesome. I gotta give him a lot of credit for that. He's learned a lot about himself and what his abilities are. And when we first
Yeah.
got together, he was not aware of these kind of things. And over time, it's evolved, and it's been really cool watching him evolve and kind of realizing what his strong points are, and holding the space and clearing it out is fantastic.
I'll get
He'll
everything
get
he'll
everything.
need.
That's true.
Oh
But yeah,
man,
I
I
look
felt
forward to
I
that.
felt so welcomed by him when he came to my show. He like showed up with a cup of Jameson. I'm like, oh hell yeah, like let's go.
And like it's specific. He's never like shitty to anybody. He just doesn't care
Yeah, yeah,
about that, like just everybody. Like I care about everybody. Me and Roxy are so similar. We love everybody. We want everyone to be happy. We try to make sure everyone's taken care of all the time. And
I get
Dusty's
it.
like, I mean, I care, but like it's not my job. But with
Right, yeah,
specific people, he definitely um, is very like open heart like that for people that he really cares to meet. So I'm glad that you felt that about him. He was
that
very
makes me
genuine
feel
with you
good.
for sure.
Yeah, that makes me feel super good that he came out to my show.
Yeah, he really, really wanted to, and
Hell
that's awesome.
yeah,
And he was conflicted because he's like, "Fuck, I'm like modding right now," and I'm like, "Get out of here, go!" Like me and Turbo have this shit handled, like it's totally fine. And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." We're like, "Just go."
yeah.
So that was commitment to it for sure.
Hell yeah.
But it's like we're like all extended family at this point. So we
Fuck
gotta
yeah.
support each other. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, good. And I want you to know too, your dad was lurking for a little bit. I saw him pop in on the
Oh
chat.
yeah. Yeah, I saw him in
So
there. Yeah.
that's cool. I'm glad. I'm glad that he did. So hopefully you can pop in next week when we have
Yes.
Ryan J on and we get to hear his spooky stories. That's gonna be pretty fun. So
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
awesome. Well, I want to wish you awesome luck playing with Crimson Riot this
Thank you.
weekend. It's gonna be
Yes.
awesome, and I'm glad that it will be streaming. So I will have to check that out. That'll be super cool.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah, I'm excited.
cool. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Gotta work those muscles, those arm muscles out. Gotta get your
Gotta get
chops
it
up,
back.
man.
Yeah.
You
For
can't
sure.
find that freaking girl. What are you talking
Her doppelganger.
about? Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Dang it. Okay, if you find her again, put it up in the Discord that we are now going to start using. We have a Discord,
Oh.
everybody.
Oh.
We haven't really used it, but we're gonna try to use it for instances just like this. So
Yes.
everybody it's the same name, inspired by mystery. May I make a suggestion on someone for us to raid? Let me see who's on of this. Oh, you know what? If Human Juke was not on right now, I would absolutely take your recommendation. But my homie Danny is rocking out right now, and I would absolutely love to raid him up. That would be great. And Tavia thinks you're awesome and wants to meet you someday.
Thank you, Tavia. Yeah, I need you to analyze my dream and make sure I'm not insane or in danger or something.
Yes. I'll make sure that she goes back and listens to that. I think she'll find it really, really interesting.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, you should message each other on the Facebooks. She's our best friend and our roommate, and she's fantastic. And she is like the dream specialist. So I think you
Awesome.
guys you could chat about that. That would be really cool.
Heck yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Raid Captain Roxy. Let's raid Human Juke. Which I don't know if any of you guys do not know Human Juke right now. You absolutely should. He is a fantastic human being, and he is literally a human jukebox. The guy plays frickin' everything, and he's great. Oh, good. I'm glad that you came in, Nightwick, and I'm so, so glad. I'm really glad.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Raid Captain is getting it going. I bet. Or Dusty. Or somebody can do it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Human Juke, man. There you go. Got the link up. Heck yeah. Oh, Whitney,
Cool.
I'm really glad that you popped in too. I'm so grateful that you joined us. Raid Captain. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, yes. Thank you for letting me
Yes,
on.
thank you. You are the best. Everybody say hi to Human Juke on behalf of us. And definitely make sure you follow him because he is just the fucking coolest. So,
Heck
all right.
yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week. It'll be great. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you for
This
the
was
invite. I had a lot of fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad. Yay. All right. We'll see you soon. Looks like we're about to raid. Are you
Cool,
gonna check
cool.
this raid out?
I
You
will
on
check
it?
this right out for a minute. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Oh, there we go. All right, we
All
rated
right.
it up.
I will
It was
see you in the
so
raid.
wonderful having you. All right, I'll
Yes,
see you in
yes.
there.
All right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hell yeah. It's Sammy Source. Just in time. Sammy Source from Inspired by Mystery Podcast and along with Roxy. What's up, Roxy? Yo, we on the last song and Sammy, you came in at the right time because this shit's about to be special. But I'm not gonna say
Hi,
what
hi.
happened yet. I won't spoil the surprise.
Oh,
For you guys at least. Everyone else knows. They'll just tell you. But I'm not going to. It's one of these.
sorry, he was addressing me directly. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad I came in at the right time. guess I should hit